Hello, and welcome to episode 25 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
And hello.
Hello.
How is everyone? How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very good.
Yeah?
And I would like to say, before we go any further in today's episode, we have a very exciting announcement.
Yes, we do.
Roll the VT.
Roll the clip.
The Eldritch Podblast Discord servers live. Everyone's gonna know the new treat.
Babe, what are you doing? It's 4 a.m. It's gonna be late soon, you know?
Yeah, but the Eldritch Podblast Discord just launched, like, literally right now at the time of watching.
What?
Yeah, I mean, some of the Squad Blasters are currently chilling out on some of the D&D channels. Well, we can seek some advice, share some memes, create some characters together.
Wow. That's a lot of channels.
Yeah, it is. And that's not even including all the human skinsuit chats.
Did you just call them Squad Blasters?
You know what? I think I fancy some more D&D. I guess I can just jump into one of the LFG chats and look for another group to play with. And then, when I've made my character, I can just head over to Artist Alley and maybe get a commission on my character.
Margaret, you don't need any more commissions.
I might even jump into some of the voice channel chats for my new D&D group, because we love a safe space to hang out with our friends in our community.
Is there any other channels?
Oh yeah. Some would even say there's a DM channel. You know, for DMs to hang out in, bounce some ideas off of each other. The Discord's live! Woo, Discord's live! Discord's live, guys. Welcome
Discord's
back.
live, baby.
Discord's live.
Discord's live.
Right now, literally, at time of watching, which will be, well, I mean, at time of release, 6 p.m. on Monday. I don't know what date it is. The something of April, our Discord server is live. You can go there literally right now.
Description.
First link in the description.
Don't go there yet.
Well, go there. Keep us open.
Keep it going for the algorithm.
As you can see, we have a channel where you can discuss the videos as they go live.
Yeah, you can.
So we are already in there.
Yeah,
We're waiting. We're watching.
Mhm.
I promise.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
going to be with you guys for probably the first hour, full time, just saying hi and introducing ourselves to everyone and just being excited with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Discord servers live, baby.
Like you saw in that very, very, very well acted, well
Very
scripted.
Totally not Amdram.
No.
Yeah.
The piece of media there that you just saw.
Yes, piece of art.
All the things. All the things that are in there.
All the things. Thank you all so much for all your suggestions. I have to be honest, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, we were very much on the same page.
I think we're all on the same page. A lot of the things you guys suggested were already things that we had. I think actually all of the things you suggested.
Yeah. There was the LFG chat.
Yes.
So you guys can work together, come together.
Find a group,
in this
like-minded
community.
people. Totally.
D&D is a community anyway, but then there's different brands of D&D within that. And I feel like everyone here has an idea of a similar brand of D&D. There'll still be differences here and there, but that's there.
Yeah.
Artists Alley. You've already seen some of the commissions that Margaret's had done.
Yeah, we've seen some of the fan art that's been submitted as well.
So,
that was an obvious.
That was an obvious
That
one.
was the
straight
obvious
away.
one that we
That was one of the first
wanted.
ones that you came up with.
Yeah. So you guys can bounce your work in progresses off each other. You can show off your artwork.
You can advertise yourself.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the point of it,
Absolutely.
We own a small business and we understand that having like-minded people in the same place
Totally.
and being able to...
You need people to see your work.
You need people to see your work.
Post your work.
So that's in there.
We also have a creators area where if you are a YouTuber, if you have a blog, if you have a small business, if you have anything, you can share yourself in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, I'm so excited to see.
So am I.
Because the community, first of all, we already can tell we have a great community going. And that's just from interacting you guys with you guys just in the comments.
Interacting, you guys.
It's interaction, you guys. It's all forced. It's forced playtime in your pen. So please enjoy.
Get in the fucking Discord.
So, yes, I really, I hope that right now we're all chatting up a storm, having a great time.
What are you most excited for?
I think I'm genuinely most excited for seeing people being able to come together and be able to form potentially their own D&D groups. If not that, at the very least, to be able to come into a group of people where you feel safe, you feel welcome, you know, no one's going to judge you, no one's going to be toxic or nasty to you.
That's quite an important thing on the internet.
Like, having a community.
Like, anyway, I know this Discord is slightly different, but, you know, being able to be in a group of like-minded people immediately, and you don't have to go in and, like, test the waters, you know. Yeah. This is a little bit off topic, but when me and Margaret were trying to find a guild in World of Warcraft, World of Warcraft can be quite a toxic place.
Yes, oh, totally.
So, we'd join a guild, they'd be racist, we'd leave, and
then the cycle just repeated.
We'd go into a new guild, they'd be homophobic, we'd leave.
Yeah.
So, when we basically, we like narrowed it down, and then we found our guild, and they were like, there is no hate, you can go by any pronouns, it's a safe space, and as soon as we were in there, we'll never leave that guild.
Yeah, well, exactly. So
having that already
so what you've got
done
here,
for you,
you can never leave. You can never leave.
No. Like,
you're stuck with us.
Be prepared that if you go in the Discord,
you can never leave.
You know, it's like a virus.
Yeah.
On your computer. You can't get rid of it.
It's actually malware. It's a Trojan, and you can't go.
But I think I'm most excited for. There was a few things that, you know, like, you guys. In our submission form, the one thing that is the most popular is the advice.
Totally, yeah.
You guys like seeking a lot of advice from us.
Yep.
And, you know, we're still going to have that, and we're still going to have them in the video. But there is a section for, like, advice. Or, like, DM channel for advice and things like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, maybe if it's not me, maybe if I'm busy and I can't give any advice there and then.
Yeah.
There's
have
other
each
DMs
other.
in there. There's other people.
You have each other, which is all you could want out of a community. I feel.
I think it's gonna be super cool.
Me
super
too.
Exciting.
And later down the line, when we do release things like Patreon, there's going to be like Patreon only channels as well. There's going to be perks to the Discord for Patreon users. That's something we haven't, you know. That's sometime in the future. Yeah. The Discord. First of all, Discord's live.
You wanted it. We said we wanted it.
Yep.
It's done.
Can't wait. Thank you.
So excited.
Thank you so much for, first of all, wanting this.
Yeah.
First of all, when we mentioned it, being so receptive to it and so excited. Yeah. Some of you have come forward and offered your help as mods as well.
Already.
Which is unbelievable to us. I have to be honest. I don't know what.
We will obviously need mods at some point.
Yeah,
I
don't really know what goes into being a mod.
We'll get people in, get everyone settled,
and then we'll go from there.
But then we'll go from there with like things like mods.
But the people who have offered, we have absolutely made a note of that.
Yeah.
Thank you very, 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 very much. And to everyone who has made this possible, who wanted to be here, thank you. And I can't wait to see what you guys create out of this, to be honest.
The voice channels.
The voice channels.
Literally, if you get together in the Discord with a bunch of like-minded people and play online, you can just go into our Discord, and the Eldritch Pod, not ours, yours as well. Yeah. The Eldritch Podblast Discord. Tell us what your campaign name is. We'll rename that voice channel.
We'll rename the voice channel to your campaign name.
Book it out on that day every week. Yeah. Or every 2 weeks, whatever it is.
Just
go in there and there you go.
Totally.
Safe space for your campaign.
Totally. And you know it's going to be a safe space, and we're going to make sure it's a safe space. So there you go. Thanks, guys.
Woo!
Come on, let's hit them with the
boom.
Okay. So now that is done. That announcement is out of the way. Another thing we would like to update you on I was going to say extracurricular things. Just extracurricular things. Hand in your homework.
This is the curricula.
Yes.
It's outside of this.
We mentioned in the last episode that we are working on merch.
Yep.
We have ordered some samples.
Yeah.
They actually we think they're arriving today.
We hope they'd arrived before this. So if they were good, we could have showed.
Yeah, we could have a sneaky little look. But
we wanted to get a sample first because we make our own stuff.
Yeah.
For
Hellbound.
For Hellbound, which obviously link in the description to our small business. But for this, because we already have our own small business and we run it out of our house, we don't have a huge amount of space left to do another clothing line.
Yeah, we don't really have like the capital to put into like holding stock
Holding stock, yeah.
And
as well as, holding stock for our own business.
Yes, and because the designs are slightly different. There's like color in them. There's actual images in them. It's a different printing process to what we use as well. So we're outsourcing it, obviously.
Do you want to know what? By the time this goes up, we'll definitely have it. So what we'll do is we'll put an image here of one of us wearing it. We'll just take a photo. This is what the t-shirt looks like. This is the sample. And we're just checking it for quality, checking it for print quality and stuff like that.
Making sure that the design works on t-shirt and everything like that.
If you're going to spend... your hard-earned fucking cash on stuff that
we want to make sure it's right.
We want to make sure it's right, you know.
One thing we can attest to is the quality of the actual garment.
Yeah, because it's the same garment that we print for our business.
It's the same blank that we use, that we specifically only use because we really like the quality.
Yeah.
And it's Gildan soft style.
Yes.
So it's a really nice, soft feeling t-shirt.
It's a very good... It's not like a flimsy, stretchy piece of shit t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's a
nice quality t-shirt.
Nice quality soft t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because, me and Margaret love a band t-shirt.
Oh, yes.
Margaret's got a neck deep one on right now.
I do.
We love a band t-shirt and we love a good quality band t-shirt. And if you get shit quality t-shirt,
sucks.
There's nothing worse.
Yeah, it just totally sucks.
So, we know we can attest to the quality of the t-shirt.
Yep.
And we just wanted to attest to the quality of first.
Exactly. We'll keep you updated. As always, we'll keep you updated. So that is one design. There is going to be another t-shirt design which has our logo on it. And I did mention before we were going to release a long sleeve as well. Listen, sometimes you say things.
Is that not happening?
Listen, I don't know.
Well,
I haven't taken any steps towards designing the sleeves.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I think we know what we're going to put on the sleeves if we do it.
Yeah.
You're either going to get 2 t-shirts and a long sleeve, or just 2 t-shirts.
Or just 2 t-shirts and a sticker pack. You're going to get a sticker pack no matter what as well.
Nice.
So
just committing to it.
I feel like that's the first you've heard of it, and you looked really blank.
You did say something about a sticker pack, but I forgot. Yeah. But I think you already designed the sticker pack.
Yeah, the sticker packs are designed, and sticker packs are going to be handmade by us as well.
Yeah.
Because we actually do have the capabilities of doing that in house, and then we can attest to the quality of them that way as well. So yes.
There'll be stickers, t-shirts, and potentially a long sleeve. If the long sleeve doesn't come out now, it'll just come out later. The long sleeve will come out. We'll definitely launch a long sleeve, but it might not be right now.
What just not launch a long sleeve?
Ever.
And then me have to go through this video and cut out every time we say long sleeve and just replace it with the word like
t-shirt.
Druid. Something like
there will be a druid.
There will be a druid. So
excellent.
Merch is on the way.
Oh, it's all exciting times.
It is exciting. It's very exciting times. Very exciting times. Speaking of exciting times, we managed to buy ourselves a new mixer.
Yes.
We mentioned that we were getting our first check from YouTube.
We got our first cash money check. But we kept the other mixer and then tried to change the cable. I run a check on my PC because there is like cutouts that really.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've noticed them. In fact, I know for a fact you have. Because sometimes they cut out when we're saying something very pertinent to the conversation. And I have to cut out to the room mic.
Yes.
Which...
Do you want to know what? Every time I'm editing a TikTok and that happens, it frightens the fucking life out of me.
I bet it does. Yeah, I absolutely bet it does.
But, so, cable wasn't the issue. PC doesn't seem to be the issue. So it has to be the mixer. So, we bought a new mixer.
We reinvested the money.
Because we want you to have the best audio experience.
Hell yeah.
Especially our 300 and something people on Spotify.
Oh my God.
Jesus Lord.
How does that keep happening?
I don't know.
Listen, we don't know anything about Spotify.
We just put them up there.
We just put them up there. So to all of our Spotify viewers, oh my gosh.
Love you.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
We truly appreciate you.
Love you.
I didn't realize that Spotify automatically puts like a Q&A on the videos. Didn't notice. I clicked on something different on Spotify yesterday when I was going through, and I found that people had been answering these Q&As with genuinely really nice, sweet, like engaging things.
What's the question?
It's just like, what did you think of the video?
Oh, right, okay.
It's just like not watch your zodiac sign.
I'm sick of the audio cutouts.
It must be even worse for Spotify viewers. So yes, bought a new mixer. Someone literally, like at 4 a.m. last night, I watched it live as it came in, mentioned about our pop shields. So we said in a previous video, we're still working on the audio.
We don't fucking know, man.
The audio is something we have no idea.
No clue.
And if you've seen...
Just 2 idiots trying to make podcasts.
Totally. 2 idiots just trying to live.
Just trying to get by.
And the pop shields, we didn't know what we were doing with them.
Yeah, so we had them right up against the mics.
Yeah, they advised that you should leave a bit of a gap in between them so it has space to actually diffuse the sound, which makes complete sense.
Yeah, oh yeah, when you say it like that, I'm like, yeah, of course.
Totally, yeah. So we have tried that.
Well, we'll see if it works.
Yeah,
and we'll see if the mixer cuts out.
Eye through it? Yeah.
Because, you know, we've never, this is
Never
the
tried
first
the mixer.
time we did some mic testing on Tuesday.
with that
with
the
clip.
skit.
And then we did some mic testing before we started this, and it sounds good.
Yeah,
so
watch it be the worst audio you've ever had.
Non-stop.
Yeah. So here's hoping there's going to be less cutouts.
Fingers
Of course,
crossed.
there is still going to be cutouts because we have to deal with our dog constantly.
Yeah, but that's not like we actually intentionally stop.
We're intentionally stopping. So yes. Is there anything else you'd like to update the people on? Yes, there is. Sorry, there's a lot of announcements. Someone the other day, God bless you, we said, are you okay with us chatting on? You were so polite and you said, I love hearing about it, but you do take a while to start, and we are so sorry. We absolutely do. I'm sorry.
We do.
We just like to keep you guys
But
involved.
that's why we put the timestamps in.
Totally.
You know?
Totally. Yeah.
If you don't care about any of this shit, just go.
Yeah, just
go start the
stick
podcast.
to the main thing.
We don't mind.
Yeah. We don't mind at all.
This is for the people who do mind.
Yeah, totally. So I
Oh,
got another commission done of Reyla.
of course.
So let me. First of all, I'm just gonna show it. I'm gonna insert the picture right here. Look at her. Isn't she so mean and so
she is a little bit
angy?
mean.
She's so mean and so angry, and
And
she's got her earrings in, which
Yeah.
I've always forgotten to include in commissions.
Yes.
A
wolf earrings made by Priestess.
Made by Priestess, one
which
of
is
the plays
Abby.
on our group. So here is Reyla. If you didn't know, she's my moon druid.
Correct.
She is a druid of the moon.
Yes, she is.
And
if nobody knew that.
the episode that we released on Thursday, I actually showed off loads of artwork of my previous characters.
Yeah.
And there was 3 pieces of artwork of Beloved, Willow, and Lilith that were all done by the same person who got this. I got this commission done. I think, I'm so sorry if I am saying this wrong.
Well, no matter what, we'll put the link in the description.
Totally. The name is Puss. I think. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
the way you said it.
I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Could you please correct me if not?
We'll put the link down below.
Yes.
Do you want to know the most insane thing about it?
Yeah.
Tell you what, this is going to be loads of work from you.
Go on.
Here's Beloved. Here's Willow. Here's Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the new Reyla.
And here's Reyla.
Do you know how much they are?
Go on.
£10.
They were 10 British pounds.
That is insanely
the
cheap.
most insane thing I've ever heard
For
in
the
my
quality
life.
of art.
And also, they kept me updated constantly.
Yeah.
First of all, from the time of messaging to actually receiving the commission, it took 3 days?
Yeah.
And they sent me about 3 updates in the course of those times, and they are so accommodating, so unbelievably talented, and so sweet. And I saw that their commissions were open, and I just had to jump on it.
At the time, the commissions might still be open.
Yes.
But by the time it comes out, they might not be.
They might not be, but I will absolutely leave their Instagram down below.
Yeah.
And if they prefer me to leave any other links, of course, I will put them down below as well. So yes, that's my update.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything from you?
I don't think so. Nothing else. The mixer took up a lot of my time.
Yes, yeah.
The skit took up a lot of our time.
Yeah, the skit took a lot of the time. We hope you enjoyed the skit. Yeah. We also hope you enjoyed last week's episode, which was tier ranking all of our characters.
That goes up
literally at 6 p.m. today. It's 2 p.m. now.
Yeah, so
have no idea how that is received.
Yeah, it's a slightly different one for us.
It is.
Do a lot of tier list ranking.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed it.
The last thing is the session that we played last night.
Yes. Shall we give us a quick session recap? Sorry, we've been talking for about 20 minutes now. That's not including the skit, but we'll give you a quick session recap.
Yeah.
Who's gonna?
You can do it.
You want me to do it?
Yeah. I'm the fucking DM. I know.
Okay, so
I want to hear what happened from your perspective.
So it was going to be a travel session. We were going from one part of the region to the next and into another because we have a mission we need to do somewhere. And one of our players, Priestess, she's a vampire. Oh my goodness. She's been afflicted with vampirism against her will.
Yeah.
She's trying her best to hide it. And
well, she's been given like powers from her deity.
Yeah,
she's a cleric.
She's a cleric.
And
that hold it at bay.
So like the teeth retract.
Yeah,
so they don't look so much like fangs.
The bloodlust goes.
Yeah, the bloodlust goes. The eyes aren't red.
Yeah, she's really struggling at the moment specifically to control it because her god has had to. Her god's basically pieced out for a bit.
Her god's had to step back to take care of something else.
Yeah,
very important. Her brother, the
Yeah.
god's brother, is deathly ill.
Yes, which was inflicted by
By
someone in
something
Josh's
to do with
backstory.
Josh's backstory.
So she's really struggling with that at the minute, and where we're traveling, we're going past her hometown, which is called Manavik. And Priestess has always said, the reason I left, because she hasn't been back since this happened to her, is I don't want to hurt my family.
Yes.
I can't imagine anything worse than hurting my family.
Yes.
Keep that in mind. We end up in a town across from Manavik.
You actually fought this vampire earlier in the campaign.
Yes, we had fought the vampire who had afflicted her with this.
Yeah, but, with vampires, when they die, they go back to their pit.
Kill them in their resting place.
And they couldn't do that because they were too busy having to stop something else.
Exactly.
So he got away.
Yeah. We missed our opportunity there, and we knew he was going to come back. And we heard earlier in the campaign, because Priestess sent like a cryptic message over just to find out how they're doing.
Yeah.
Because her parents assume she's dead.
Yeah.
And in the letter they get back, they say that they miss their daughter dearly. They've dedicated their life's work to her, and they've hired a new boy.
A new help, around the shop.
And immediately, me and Abby were like, "That's Odiger, the vampire who turned her." We were like, "That is absolutely going to be Odiger, no question." So we end up last session in the town, very, very close to Manavik. Priestess is still unsure if she wants to go and check in with her family. She, as a cleric, as a blood cleric, has Crimson Bond. So if she has someone's blood, she can basically look through their eyes and see where they are, if they're within 10 miles of her.
And in this campaign, there's a number of ways to turn you into a vampire.
Yeah.
Priestess drank the blood of
Odiger. Yeah.
Unknowingly.
Yes.
And was turned into a vampire.
Yes. So
she technically
has his blood coursing through her. Yeah. So she goes, she does her Crimson Bond. She gets a ping that he's less than 10 miles away.
Yeah, in the direction of her hometown.
In the direction of Manavik. So she pushes it further, and...
Because if you can force them to do a Constitution saving throw as a blood cleric and see through their eyes.
Which was risky, but worth the risk.
I failed by 1.
Yeah, he failed by 1. She sees, lo and behold, he's there in her parents' shop working.
Pretending to work.
Pretending to just be this nice guy who works. And... alarm bells go off. We decide we have to go to Manavik now and deal with this situation. We go. We had a plan.
Facets of the plan went wrong.
Yes, the plan basically went wrong. The plan was we were going to lure the parents out.
Yeah.
Things happened. We ended up having to go in. He was waiting for her. Odiger was waiting for her.
He's been waiting for her
since we killed his family.
The day that you killed his family.
Because we killed his family.
Yeah, that's the other thing that they had to take care of while he was in his resting.
We had to take care of his father.
Yeah.
So she walks into the shop.
She's the first one and only one who walks
into the shop. Igneous is on the ground with her, holds the door open. Me and Hermeta are on a roof, making sure no one's coming. And he's there, and he walks out from the shadows. He charms her.
Yeah, and I was like, it was like a DC 17 wisdom saving throw or something like that. And she's a cleric. She's got +7.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that it maybe would take a couple of attempts to charm her.
Yeah.
That's the point. Nope. Natural 1.
Immediately she was charmed.
Natural 1.
She kills her dad.
Yeah, she goes over, and again, it's slightly different in this campaign.
Yeah.
You
don't have to explain it. Yeah. Vampires work differently.
Vampires work differently in D&D, and some of the ways that they work I don't particularly like.
Yeah.
So
she goes over, she kills her dad, she turns him. A fight ensues.
Yeah.
We have to try, and we don't know how to get her out of this charm, so we try everything. We try hurting him, we try hurting the now turned dad. We try hurting her. Turns out hurting her is the key.
Mm-hmm.
We get her out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, Igneous is like, I need to get the parents out of here. They roll a contested initiative check. Abby, I'm so sorry. You roll like shit most of the time. Yeah. Listen, you rolled terribly. Abby rolled a natural 20.
Abby rolls a natural 20 to see who goes first. Her or Igneous.
Yep.
After she's been charmed.
Igneous rolled first, and he got really high.
He rolled
an 18 or something.
No, it was a 17 plus like 3 or 4. So it was a 20 or a 21. She rolls a natural
20. She goes first.
Jumps over like through the shop.
Yep.
Claws the dad.
Yep.
Bites him.
Yep.
He's like she. Oh yeah. Also, she then rolls a natural 20 on the bite.
Yeah, she rolls a natural 20 on the attack on her dad.
He's out in first go.
Gone. Like
no way he was surviving.
No way.
On the bite.
Josh manages to go after. He vortex warps them out.
Mum and dad.
Great
outside.
shout.
Great shout.
Me
you
and
begin
Hermeta,
to see her dad change.
Yeah. Me and Hermeta come down.
The fight begins.
Reyla especially. Reyla is missing her family too, and she has an older sister. And Reyla very much sees Priestess now as her sister.
Yeah.
Like, in every single way. So Reyla, I think this was the first time Reyla, like, properly cried outside of stuff with her family. But Reyla was, like, crying.
Yeah.
Upset.
It was tough because they weren't really prepared for this fight.
No, this was such...
we call her TRP, the Red Priestess. TRP was charmed for most of it. The charm dropped, and then he attempted to charm her again. Obviously, she rolled terrible again.
Yeah.
She failed.
Every time she needed to roll bad, she did. No, she didn't.
Odegar the vampire, and ended up... He wanted TRP to turn her mother, like, out of spite.
Yeah.
But it was going a little bit wrong at that moment, so he just took it upon himself. So he turned the mum.
Yep.
And then he began to try and flee.
And we dug our heels in, and we said, you're not taking them. We tried to get them in the house. There was once. So the dad turned into a bat to fly away into the sunset. And Hermeta has the most speed in a character ever.
It's outrageous.
He is fast. So he runs up and he just describes it.
Yeah.
I grab the bat. He runs back into the shop. And he's like, I throw the bat back into the shop.
I throw the bat into the shop.
And I don't know if you guys have seen that video of that raccoon that's attacking someone's dog. And he like fucking punts it down the stairs. It's not funny. The
poor raccoon.
It's so funny.
But anyway, because we've been going for quite a while.
Yes, sorry.
To finish it off, all he wanted in that moment, when you tried to stop him leaving with her family,
he
was like...
Things got really bad.
Yeah, things got really bad. You nearly died.
Yeah, he reduced my maximum hit points to 18.
Yeah, you were really, really close to dying. And Josh got you out of there.
Yes, he did. Yes,
and you guys began to realize that you were maybe a little bit outmatched.
Totally.
Because you'd spent so long trying to, like, stop it and, like, help the situation.
We weren't putting any damage in.
We weren't putting any damage out. So by the time it got to the point where, like, he was like, if you won't let me go, I'll kill you.
Yeah, we actually had to be like...
Okay. And he said, just before he left, he was like, TRP was still charmed. He dropped the charm on his go, and he said, if you were on my team, it wouldn't feel as good because I want you to watch me take your family there, like you did to me. And then they all turned into bats. They all flew away.
And they pissed off, didn't they? Man. It's giving me a lump in my throat thinking about it, to be honest. Man. And we ended the session there, obviously. So now, good God, at the beginning of next session, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what is going to be going through Priestess's head. But it was such an off-the-cuff decision to do it. We normally play with digital maps. We went
old school. We just put like a grid down.
I have like a cutting mat, and we ended up just using a physical...
I had made up... you know, because it was like they were going on quite a big mission after this, like quite an important mission. There was going to be a couple of like backstory things going on as you got there, and then it was, you know, you're going to launch into another arc. So I was like, I'll give them this last like bit, I'd made up a cocktail menu for the casino.
You made up like a casino.
We had some casino games. And there was like some art dealers for TRP because she's big into art. And
we just skipped right past it.
But then obviously TRP did the Crimson Bond.
That changed everything.
Session
Totally.
changed.
I was gonna say I'll insert a picture here. I'll post a picture in the Discord.
Of what?
Of the picture I took of the physical map.
Did you take one?
Yeah,
yeah. Right, okay, cool, yeah.
I'll post it in Discord. We could just chat about it in the Discord. What do you think?
That sounds great.
So yeah, it was, sorry, we've been talking for quite a long time now, but that session was the most chaos-inducing, stress-inducing, tense, scary, most exciting session I think we've had so far.
It was
everyone. There was a point where I looked around the table. I had my head in my t-shirt and I peeked out. I looked over at Matthew and he was like shaking. He was standing up and sitting down. Josh,
at the beginning, like,
things went so bad.
There wasn't any, verbal component to the charm.
No.
So Josh was just waiting at the door, and then Abby went out of sight in the shop, got charmed, and then went and killed her father.
Yeah.
So nobody even knew what was going on. It all went wrong so
quickly,
fast.
And Josh is our combat dude. He's the dude who excels in combat, and he was silent. He was
head in his
so
hands.
Stressed out.
It got to a point where, like, you had done so little damage.
Yeah.
And he's quite strong.
Yes. Stronger as well than last time we saw him, and he was strong.
He turned mum and dad.
Yeah.
They're now technically like vampire spawn.
Yeah.
They are also quite strong.
Yeah, there was no chance.
But they turned before the combat even began.
There was no
really.
chance. Yeah, absolutely no chance.
It was.
Yeah, we made the right decision.
You did.
And I think our characters realised that as well, to be honest. I think us as players realised it, and our characters. And Reyla is not one to turn down a fight.
No.
Right? But even Reyla was like, I'm going to die. And he made a point to be like, if you fuck with me one more time, I'm going to kill you specifically.
Yeah,
just kill you dead.
You were like, Matthew was in the shop getting the dad away as the bat.
Yeah.
TRP was charmed.
And, I was just verbally insulting him.
Josh was, Igneous, Josh's character was like flying around, trying his best to like vortex walk people.
Yeah.
Like crowd control the battle.
Yeah.
It was only you who was facing off with him.
Yeah.
And if it was a fight between just you and him, he was always going to win.
Always, without a shadow of a doubt.
That's the boss.
Yeah. Jeez. So yeah, it was an incredible session. We all, man, again, I said I look around the table, everyone was so upset and so stressed. But we ended it absolutely buzzed.
Yeah, it all went wrong, but even Abby was like,
couldn't have wanted anything more.
Abby was like, TRP, having the worst time of her life. Abby, this is the best thing that could have happened narratively.
So yeah, great
That was the biggest
session.
fear. That was the whole point. That was the biggest fear.
And it's really sad.
He knew that.
Because just before we had decided we were going to go to Manavik, we were talking to someone who was high up. She had some jewelry from that shop, and she told a really sad story. And she was like, and the father has never given up on the daughter. And
yeah,
man,
we should probably get into some horror stories.
We should probably get. I think that's a horror story.
Podcast over, baby.
Oh, so now half an hour in. I'm so sorry, especially to that guy who was like,
you did take a little while to get into the subject.
Sorry. I bet you're in the Discord now. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, in the Podblast channel. I wish these two would shut the fuck up.
So, yes, without any further ado, we shall get on to today's topic.
Oh, yes. What is it?
Which is D&D horror stories.
I got my big drink today.
Oh, yeah. You ran out of juice.
Yeah, I like to just have like a cup of cloudy lemonade or something like that. But I don't have any, so water it is, baby.
Water it is. So we are doing D&D horror stories, and these are all submissions.
Of course they are.
Because
our community
slaps. So honestly, we say it every single time. Thank you so very much for your submissions. We do. We adore you.
You are the best.
Have this. Mwah.
Yeah, mwah from me. There you go.
Yep. And once again, if you have your own story you would like to submit, doesn't have to be a horror story, it can be whatever you want. We have our submission form. Second link in the description now. After the Discord. And we'll just get right into it.
Hit me.
So I would like to start with a follow-up from a horror story that I think we read out this horror story in the very first submissions when we did, which was our 1-month anniversary of the Podblast.
Okay.
So this has been sent in by Audrey, and she goes by she, her.
I remember the name. I remember Audrey.
Yes. So to give a little recap, the story that she had submitted previously was her character Sammy and her daughter and brother, who were NPCs in the game. They had been kidnapped by the BBEG. And because they had been kidnapped, their DM, who we called Jake, wouldn't let Audrey participate in the game for a month while the rest of them played weekly. When Audrey was finally allowed to come back to the table, she found out that there had been an 8-year time skip.
I remember.
Her character and her daughter had been forced into being the BBEG slaves
of a
certain nature.
Yeah, I remember.
And just had an all-round horrendous time.
Yeah,
naturally.
Sounds pretty bad.
So that was the story that they submitted, and this is kind of the follow-up. So, hi, this is Audrey again, she, her. I just wanted to say thanks for reading my horror story about Jake and the 8-year time skip and the essay. I was obviously upset by many of these things mentioned, and it means the world about what you guys said. It made me very emotional sharing that particular story, and hearing you guys talk about it was really helpful. Because as much as I love the friends I play with, none of them really ever understood how uncomfortable I was with Jake and the group. And hearing you guys voice the feelings that I've been having about it almost felt sort of therapeutic in a way. Eventually, my friends and boyfriends started to understand what was making me so uncomfortable, and they've mentioned several times how they're sorry they didn't remove him from the group sooner, and other apologies along that line. I don't blame them at all, because we were all very young at the time, and most of us were very non-confrontational. So that's the first section. That's just kind of a recap. And Audrey, we're so glad that us two idiots on a podcast.
Two morons on a podcast.
Yeah. Made you feel affirmed in what you were feeling.
Yeah.
Because everything you were feeling, and we said it last time, was completely warranted, completely normal. You shouldn't have been trapped like that.
No, but it is true. Like, when some people around you don't feel the things that you feel,
totally.
Sometimes you can get in your head about it and
and it's alienating.
You can doubt yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe I was overreacting, but you weren't.
Totally.
And you weren't at all. Like, Jake's behavior was
unacceptable.
Atrocious.
Totally, completely unacceptable.
And it's good now that, sometimes it does take a little bit of time. And
sometimes when you're in it, you don't realize.
And tell you what, especially if the people that you were trying to get realize were men.
Yes.
Because it's
a different world. It's a different world.
Because we aren't subjected to it as much as women are.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
A fraction.
Yeah.
It is hard for us to get ourselves in that mindset, but we do have to try.
Totally, and it sounds like your friends have.
Oh yeah, which is good.
Which is great.
The fact that they see it now is good.
Yeah. And again, this is kind of why we do it, right? Yeah. This is why we read out the things like the horror stories, because you're now the second person who's come to us and said, thank you for reading out my story. It was like a catharsis for me. It was therapeutic to hear that and to kind of, get it out there and get it finished and get past it.
Yeah.
And that's why we do it. So you can hear from two people who don't know you or your situation that, you were treated horribly.
You were treated horribly.
And you shouldn't have been, and that's
Never.
Wrong. And for anyone listening as well who has been through something similar, to know that whatever you're going through, how these people are treating you is not right. It's not okay.
And the feelings that you are feeling are valid.
Totally. And you're safe here with us.
Yeah.
So you always will be. So Audrey actually did send in a follow-up horror story as well from Jake.
All right, the same dude.
Same dude. So I've decided to share some more Jake horror stories, although I will say nothing has topped the one I've already told.
Fair.
Which is totally fair enough.
I would be very sad if it did.
Yes. So the next story was one where Jake was not DMing, but he still tried to take control of my character like when he DM'd. In this campaign, I played as a 12-year-old orc boy that had been living solely on the streets their whole life. In this campaign, we were promised our characters couldn't die, and it was more of a fun and joking campaign that was on the shorter side, so I felt comfortable playing as a kid. I thought it would be fun to play a little menace of a kid that liked to try and prank the party and mess around. I soon found out that it would be a lot harder to have fun during the campaign than I was hoping. Jake would take every opportunity to establish control over my character. He played a female elf, and I think he tried to be motherly in a way, but he went about it in a very wrong way. several times, Jake would do things such as pick up my character and move me somewhere else while in and out of combat, or interrupt me when I was speaking in character and would make decisions for me. I had expressed a couple of times that this was making me annoyed and uncomfortable, but the behavior continued. At one point during a session, another player used her character to take me away from him and said in character that I was old enough to take care of myself, and then from then on, she made sure I was able to do the things that I wanted to, which I'm very grateful for. I have a few more Jake stories if you would like to hear any, because unfortunately, I played with him for 5 years, almost every week, and I can tell you that I felt uncomfortable for the majority of them. But
5 years too long.
5 years too long. But I was 16 when we first started, and it was my first time I got to play D&D. Yeah. So obviously I wanted to keep playing with my friends. Yeah.
Hey, again, this isn't
totally,
your fault.
No.
Like you just wanted to play D&D.
Totally. So for lots of reasons, I tried to ignore it since the rest of the party wasn't noticing any of my concerns until much, much later.
Like, if you're 16...
and it's your first time playing D&D, this is well before the consensus of no D&D is better than bad D&D,
yeah, and you gotta think, like, if I was 16 years old, I'm 29 years old.
Yeah.
Like,
we're so far away from that now.
There is many people in this world older than me who've had far more experiences, but, like, I'm at that point in my life
no one else older.
I've experienced a lot of things that I don't like, and...
we can now start to form a sense of self fully.
Yeah, the thing is, at 16... it's not that, like, you don't give a fuck about anything.
Totally,
you don't
absolutely
give a shit about
not.
anything. So, like, it doesn't surprise me that now that you're probably in your 20s, because it's been you played with Jake for 5 years.
You're reflecting on it and being like, God, that was really fucked up.
And all of the people around you are also reflecting on it. Like,
totally.
I've reflected on things that happened when I was a kid.
Yes.
And,
same. Yeah. And
you're like, what the fuck was, first of all, I doing?
Yeah,
what the fuck were
of course.
the people around me doing?
Of course. That's a natural part.
It still doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, no.
It sounds like this... Jake just has like a fucking power trip problem.
Oh, totally.
And I'm not going to say no because I don't know him, but has little respect for women.
Totally. No, totally. Yeah, that's exactly the
women
vibe
around
I'm getting.
him.
Yeah, totally.
Like in that story just then, like interrupts you and picks you as like just taking your choices away and taking your ability to play how you want to play away.
What's the point? And even if after you vocalized it, being like, I don't like this, and to still do it, you don't... Was Jake picking up any of the other characters?
Probably not.
Do you know what I mean? Was Jake trying to make decisions?
But he wasn't picking up any of the dudes.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a picture being painted here clearly, but Audrey finishes up with
Jake's
a fucking idiot. So she finishes up with, unfortunately, the group has dwindled from 7 to just 4 of us, and we can't meet weekly or even monthly most of the time. But I do enjoy each session a lot more. Now, knowing that I am safe in a group and I don't have to worry about the predatory behavior Jake would sometimes display.
That's it. Like, every week, we're like, looking forward to D&D. What's going to happen? But when that turns into, what's this person going to do?
Yeah.
It takes like the shine off it. It takes all of the enjoyment away from
Absolutely. If it gets to a point where you're dreading every week seeing someone because they're going to act like a dick to you.
Yeah.
Of course. And again, Audrey clarified in really this post and the last one before, Jake was kicked out. They yes, they endured him for 5 years, but he was kicked out and they now play D&D without him. So
I hope Jake looks back on those days and goes,
man, I was an idiot.
Do you know what? It would be nice if Jake reached out to you and said, I am sorry for the way that I treated you.
I'm sorry for doing that. And again, this story is nowhere near even touching the other story of the 8-year time gap, not allowing you to play for a month, reducing your characters and her daughter to that. Like, there was far more egregious stuff in the other story. So,
but it's still bad.
It's still bad.
And I imagine this happened on different levels.
Yeah, totally.
Over and over again.
Over 5 years. Yeah.
And it's like, as the DM, the DM does sit in like the power seat of as some regards. They tell the narrative, but for then Jake to not be sat in that seat and then still feel like
it's still to do it
because a DM doesn't have control over you or your character. That's
no. But
they tell the narrative. So for him to not sit in that seat
to just
and
do
then
it no matter what,
still to try and do it.
I know. Fuck you, Jake.
You
suck.
You fucking suck.
But Audrey,
on the other hand,
thank you first of all for following
is a legend.
Up. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
legendary.
are, Audrey. You are.
Thank you so much for, first of all, submitting your stories and giving us a follow-up. If there's anything else you want to get off your chest, send it our way.
Yeah. And just to repeat it, if you've ever been in a situation like this, and if you've ever like dreaded D&D, or if you've ever been like singled out just because of your gender or the gender that you present, it's not right, and the way that you feel is valid.
Totally.
And like, if you hear what Audrey said and you get that catharsis, just know that even if nobody else sees it right now, it doesn't mean that it's right.
Totally.
The way that people are acting towards you.
No, absolutely.
So,
if you feel like someone is treating you wrong, then that's your decision.
Yeah.
Like,
and you are valid in what you feel.
Totally.
And you shouldn't be treated like that.
Agreed.
So fuck Jake.
Yep.
And fuck every other fucking guy that does this.
Yep, you suck.
Doesn't belong here. And if you're new here, as some of you aren't, that's not allowed here. And don't join the Discord.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay, well, on to the next one.
Let's go, baby.
I've just looked at the title.
Can't wait.
Not much better. So, on to number 2. The title is just... My
name's Jake. Did I do something wrong?
My DM attempted a homophobic hate crime against my character.
Okay. Fucking Jesus.
So this has been left by Anonymous. They left no pronouns, so we'll just go by they, them.
I'm telling you right now, this is a Session 0 Sift Tools problem that hasn't been addressed.
Well.
But I can't wait to hear it.
During COVID, the LARP, and in brackets live action roleplay, I attended had to stop having events for me. So events for a while. They had to stop having events for me
specifically on for you.
They had to stop having events for a while. So me, my now ex-boyfriend, and another couple who attended the LARP, one of which was the head of the plot at the time. I'm sorry, I don't quite know what that means, but I'm assuming it's pertinent because you did mention it. I'm assuming head of the plot might mean like someone's important in the LARP.
Yeah. Maybe somebody who like put the event on or like, ran a certain section of it.
Yes,
maybe.
if you know, please clarify for us. And they start.
Come on, babe.
I'm following up the first one, man.
You got this.
Decided to start a D&D campaign. The DM had never DM'd before, so it was very exciting. The concept was 0 to hero, and we started at level 0 and earned our class, basically. It was supposed to be very heavy roleplay.
That sounds cool.
It sounds great. I played a flamboyant tiefling bard named Horatio.
Oh, love that.
I'm getting super, in our first campaign, Arcadius vibes.
Oh, yeah.
He was also a very flamboyant tiefling.
Very flamboyant tiefling bard.
And the DM asked if I was comfortable participating in bigotry-themed roleplay due to my character's demon heritage. I enjoy intense roleplay, so I was kind of excited for conflict and wholeheartedly agreed to it. So,
yeah,
fair enough.
Amazing.
Fair enough.
DM comes to you. This theme is something I would like to explore.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and obviously OP's happy with it.
Yeah.
So fast forward. Zombies had chased my character into town, and close-minded human residents accused Horatio of being a necromancer, thinking he brought the zombies on purpose. This is all fine and good, I had no problems. But then the DM introduced a couple of young adult bullies meant to annoy all of us. This is when shit got weird. The DM decided it would be fun to introduce homophobia to the session.
I mean, that's
so much fun.
That's usually what all of us do for fun around here.
So much fun. I can't imagine. Hate crimes.
Just a little bit of hate crime.
Oh yeah, nothing. Nothing wets the whistle like a hate
it's
crime.
It's half 2 on a Thursday.
Yeah, why not?
Time for a hate crime.
So the bullies called Horatio gay as an insult. What are we?
Fuck me. What?
Troglodyte 12-year-old children.
Troglodyte 12-year-old children.
Come on.
Man.
That shit, we're millennials, right? That is shit when you were in school.
Oh,
Kids used to use that as an insult.
I remember when my teacher in primary school had heard somebody call somebody gay as an insult.
Yeah.
And then they brought us in the classroom and they were like, it's not an insult. And I remember from that day, I was like, well, of course it's not, because...
Yeah, why would that be?
Of course it's not, because if someone's gay, that's their choice.
And do you remember that stupid fucking meme that was of that guy going, ha, gay? Come on. Come on. Jeez, the early 2000s was riddled with homophobia, with sexism, race. It was horrendous.
Like, I grew up, me and Margaret grew up, and probably a lot of you grew up with like that being an acceptable thing to say as an insult.
And I used to use it as an insult when I was a kid.
Look, like no one's gonna sit here and pretend like they're perfect. When I was a child, I thought it was acceptable to say.
Yeah, I used
because
the
people around me also did it.
I used to say that. I used to say worse, and it was fucking completely unacceptable.
Like the F slur. People used to think that was acceptable.
People used to just say it.
Yeah.
Like absolutely, completely vile beyond comprehension. Yeah. And it's not an excuse for us to be like, oh, everyone else was doing it.
No, it's not.
We did it because we thought it was funny.
Yeah, and also because I was a child who didn't know better.
And it was provocative and funny.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which is the lamest shit ever.
It's fucking embarrassing.
It's absolutely so embarrassing. I'm ashamed. I'm absolutely ashamed that I ever acted like that. Yeah. Ever. But
the thing is, right, like, for anyone who grew up around our age to be like, oh, I didn't do it, it's like,
You probably did because it was so ingrained in us as a normal thing.
Yeah, and it was so normal.
It was so normalized.
And it's like, I feel like
it makes me. I know.
Those words ever came out of my mouth.
Sometimes I lay awake at night and I think about the things I used to say when I was younger because I said some fucking stupid shit.
Oh, it was okay back then. It's like
it was never okay.
That excuse is fucking bullshit.
It was never okay.
I fucking hate it because for all of the queer community, it wasn't okay for them.
Yeah.
So why the fuck do you think it was okay?
Was it ever okay for them? Do you know what I mean? Just because it was okay for everyone else, it still hurt the people that you were insulting back then. So it was never okay.
It wasn't okay then.
It was okay back then.
Nah.
Sorry, we've gone off on a bit of a tangent there. Anywho, for this to happen, when this happened, when the world ended, this was like 2020, right?
Yeah. So
and someone is still using this as an insult.
It's just disgusting.
So, the bullies called Horatio gay as an insult, with no real provocation from me. It was something like, "What? Are you gay?" Come on.
The thing is, right? If Horatio hasn't said anything, and the person playing Horatio is gay, then that's literally nothing more than a metagaming attack.
The DM being a
being a fucking homophobe.
Well, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there, Jack. So, what, are you gay? With a gross sneer. I was taken aback. I didn't think much of it at the time. I am LGBT in real life, and I was the only person in this group, in fact. So, of course, I wanted my character to be. You hit the nail on the fucking head.
Yeah.
During another session, it happened again. This time with a threat of violence. I'm pretty sure the DM had the bullies start towards me with the intent to harm, but were intercepted. I don't remember the specifics, but I do remember that neither the DM's husband or my ex said anything. They didn't think it was weird. Nothing. So basically, I got mildly hate crimed by someone who I thought was one of my closest friends.
You're doing yourself an injustice by calling it mildly. You just got fucking hate crimes.
Jesus Christ. And because of the drama that happened with my ex in this lap, I believe the DM was actually trying to hurt my feelings.
Sounds like it.
It's been almost a year since I ended that relationship, and I no longer associate with anyone in that lap. I'm still in disbelief that she would feel the need to try something like that on me. Hey, OP, I think you said it best yourself. I think that DM was just trying to be a dickhead to you.
Yeah, 100%. Because the thing is, nobody, when your tiefling ran in running from the skeletons, you didn't just walk in and go, "Hey, by the way, I'm gay."
Yeah. By the way, none of your business what my sexual preferences are. But I am gay.
I'm queer. And just so everyone knows, like you didn't do that. So nobody has
any preconceptions of you.
Yeah.
Your DM is exactly like you said, knows in real life you're part of the queer community, and then is like, "Oh, what, are you gay?
You gay?
Come on." And also, such a totally normal thing, by the way, to want to have to mirror yourself in the game, to want to have like
the thing is, right,
representation of yourself in the game.
If you want to make a queer character,
who fucking cares?
Go for it. It's fucking fantasy.
It's first of all, it shouldn't even be a thing because it's exactly the same. Like that is something that
whatever.
Who gives a fuck?
Whatever you want your sexual preferences for your character to be. That's fine.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? And, representation is so important.
Of course it is.
It's so important to have it. And, you know, this ties into a bigger picture of, like, you know, having people of color represented,
Yeah.
having the LGBTQA plus community represented.
Yeah.
It's so important because this is going to start a whole new conversation.
Yes, but I think everybody here understands what you're trying to say,
mm-hmm.
and definitely understands, and is definitely on board with you. And the fact that, like, you haven't been mildly hate crimed, you've just been hate crimed
by your friend,
by your fucking friend,
by friend.
You know, again, like I said, none of those characters knew that your character was queer, gay, and anything about your character.
Mm-hmm.
But for them to just immediately go, "Oh, yeah, that's just an attack. That's just an attack. That's just an excuse for your DM to take out their feelings above game towards you and attack you."
Beyond pathetic.
It's just pathetic.
Absolutely beyond pathetic. DM. Yep. Fuck her.
Fuck that DM.
Yep.
It's fucking bullshit.
Man, that sucks so hard,
bullshit.
Doesn't it, man? And you know what? This submission does have, like, a hint of, like, humor and sarcasm. So I'm glad that you've come away from it not feeling like total shit. I'm sure it made you feel like total shit at the time.
Yeah.
But, you know, well done on you for having a better mental fortitude than I would have, to be completely honest with you. I would have crumbled. So thank you very much, OP, for your...
And, you know, like we said in the first one, you don't deserve things like that.
No, totally.
You don't ever deserve to be treated like that.
Nope, never. Like, in any facet of your life.
It's just fucking crazy that people think that it's acceptable to attack people's sexual preferences in fucking 2020 when this happened. I would love to say that this DM has learned a lesson and probably looked back on that and thought that wasn't right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to know what? I'm going to live in my own fantasy world where they said that.
You stay right there.
I'm going to stay right there.
Oh, bloody hell, we're like an hour in.
Well, we've had two bangers so far.
Okay. So, oh, my back. Oh, man. I was so tense.
Is it the weight of carrying this podcast?
Totally. So, the next one. So, this has been submitted by Justin G, and he goes by he, him.
Thank you, Justin G, for your submission.
Thank you, Justin. So, player problematic enough to be synonymous with trouble in our old gaming group. We are playing a D&D 3.5 game blended with Final Fantasy VII homebrew elements, which was materia for summons, characters, etc. Don't know what that means, but that sounds great.
Cool,
that sounds awesome. The party consisted of a bard/warlock, me, a monk, a sorcerer, and a dragon knight homebrew, the star of the story, the star of this story found online. Sorry, I butchered that, Justin.
Okay.
Like most of our games, a dash of chaos is pretty standard. My character was selling reverse mortgage scams. The knight had a tendency to crawl into people's chimneys, the usual laughing and messing around of the type thing. The problems arose... I remember what this story is. The problems arose once magic items started getting involved. The Dragon Knight would actively steal items from the party and either hide them or straight up throw them away so the party couldn't use them anymore. At one point, hiding one of the sorcerer's items on top of a one-way elevator that we wouldn't have been able to get back. Thankfully, the DM intervened on this one. This behavior persisted even after multiple warnings and talks, both as a table and with the DM telling him to cut it out. Everything came to a head in a session involving my patron. The DM and I had planned a character arc where I would swap from the Archfey patron, the Queen of Hearts, to become a Warlock of Bahamut. Cool.
Oh, cool.
Needless to say, my previous patron was not happy about the arrangement and showed up. Combat ensued, and mid-combat, I hear... the Dragon Knight. I'm gonna shoot the Warlock in the back.
Okay.
Me, what?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
DM, are you really sure you want to pull this stunt right now? The Dragon Knight, well, the patron's mad at him, so if I take him out, I'll get rewarded.
Fucking hell.
Thankfully, after being shot and downed by him, my so-called ally, the patron spun on him and dealt massive damage before flying off. Scheduling conflicts and the amount of issues Night caused meant the campaign went on a permanent hiatus. But to this day, we refer to problematic players as pulling a insert player's name here. That's just a lovely short, sweet one, innit?
You know, like when you get together and you're supposed to be like this unit, and at the beginning it's like you maybe don't trust each other, but then things happen, and then you're like, oh, I can really trust these people. I want to go adventuring with them. And this person's just like, I can't wait for any moment
your back is turned.
Stab one of you in the back.
I'm gonna shoot the warlock in the back. I can just picture it in my head.
So, DM, sorry, is the warlock facing that way? Okay, good. I'm
I
gonna shoot him in the back.
It's just literally me. What?
What? Like, tell you what. To tackle just a couple of serious notes in this.
Man.
Me personally, as a DM and a player, I fucking hate stealing from the party.
Totally, yeah, totally.
I don't know what it is. It just creates this like weird feeling that your shit's not safe. And like, because you know that somebody's stolen something from you, but maybe your player doesn't. So then you've still got to act normal with them, even you know that they fucked you over.
Yeah, so totally.
Personally, I don't like it. It can be flavorful, and it can be funny, done right.
Yes,
but I think
definitely.
it is really hard to do right.
Especially done maliciously like this is.
To fucking get somebody's magic item and chuck it in a one-way elevator that they're never going to see again.
So they couldn't use it. Why would you? First of all, why were they doing this? What were they gaining from this?
Margaret. This person shot them in the back in the middle of combat. For the DM to be like, right now?
I shoot him in the back.
Right now? Are you sure?
It's the way that
right now.
The DM's exact. Are you really sure you want to pull this stunt off right now?
Right now. Probably in the middle of like a massive boss fight.
And I just love how the knight's like, if I take him out,
I may get extra powers. I'm really going to take advantage of this situation.
It's the fact that Justin as well. Justin was downed.
Down by the head.
I'm so sorry, Justin.
Man.
That is absolutely hell on earth.
Sorry that I'm laughing at your plans.
I know, but that is so funny. I bet at the time it wasn't funny. I bet at the time everyone was like, what are you doing? That... Yes, on a serious note, that sucks. That's really weird behavior.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
100%.
can look back on it now with humor.
Yeah, with a bit of a laugh and a giggle.
But pulling an insert player's name here, we all have one.
We've all got that person.
We all got that person. So that is so funny. I'm so sorry that happened. Thank you so much for sending that submission.
That was very good.
That brightened.
I'm gonna shoot the warlock.
I'm gonna shoot him in the back.
I'm gonna shoot the warlock in the back.
Just attack the unaware. You know.
Yeah.
Attack the vulnerable.
Attack the warlock.
There we go. Okay.
Perfect.
So
amazing. I love that one.
Right. Okay. This next one. This is a long one.
Okay.
But it's a good one.
All
there's
right.
a lot of facets to this horror story.
Okay.
So the title is D&D Horror Story. Originally an Am I the Asshole? But I think I know. And this was sent in by Lirry, and she goes by she, her.
Okay. Thank you, Lirry.
Thank you very much. So, hi, Margaret and Jack. I love your podcast, and I hope you enjoy my story.
Thank you
very much. We love
very
you
much.
dearly. So, my brother and I joined an established 1-year-old campaign where the characters were all level 6. We were new to D&D, but we made sure we knew all the rules we could before starting. There were 3 people in the party, plus us, so that makes 5. A challenge for... Thank you for clarifying. I wouldn't have been able to do that math.
What? 3 plus 2?
Couldn't have done it.
Yeah, you could. Even you could have done that.
19. A challenge for any dungeon master, ours of which handled it very well, especially in combat. I was playing a Shadow Sorcerer, and my brother was playing a Life Cleric.
Shadow Sorcerer. Sick. That's
what Josh is playing right now.
Plays.
Yeah. They were both wonderful, deep, and mysterious characters that had great dynamics with the rest of the party. However, my brother found that he was pretty much useless to the party. Life Clerics can pump out a lot of healing, which is not what he wanted to do. Oh, sorry. You know what? I laughed so much at that last story. my mouth.
Have a drink.
I shall. Bear with me.
Here we go.
I don't know if you can hear that.
With my jug.
Oh, sorry. We're an hour in and I'm wasting time by drinking into the mic. Oh. I'm so sorry about that.
It is okay. Please forgive me, I imagine.
Thank you. I watch everyone like categorically not feeling.
I hate it when Margaret coughs.
When Margaret breathes. So, didn't want to do the healing.
Didn't want to do the cleric healing.
At higher levels, we found that the DM would just buff the monsters to make them deal more damage to make up for the cleric's healing. My brother voiced that if he wasn't in the campaign, that the DM would just reduce the damage output. He felt that every round he just stood there as a heal bot with no real role. Yeah, I totally get that. He began to hate it. This is exactly me with my healer.
Yeah.
Like, exactly me. He felt that every round... Oh, sorry, yeah. He began to hate it. He addressed the DM about this and explained that he didn't want to heal, and he was happy not to use his heal spells as much, and that clerics had more fun things to do, and he wanted to try them out without fearing a TPK.
True.
Every round. And then in brackets, literally every round. And the DM reassured him, but then made no changes. Over time, my brother's resentment grew for how he was treated as a player, and he fell out of love with the campaign. He then began to notice that the DM's blatant plagiarism and the lack of backstory incorporated into the campaign. To make it clear, we were 50 sessions deep by the time he dropped out, and we knew nothing about his character and had done nothing for his character. We barely knew about his supposed pilgrimage he was supposed to be going on to meet his father. Yeah, 50 sessions is
a lot of sessions.
If you have 5, even then with 5 players, 50 sessions is still quite deep to know nothing, right?
Like, yeah, I think it depends. Like, how long is the campaign? Is it going to be years? Is it going to be a year? Like, if you don't like know the DM personally, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's
it is tough.
You need
totally.
I think you need to, like, if you want your backstory, if you come with a backstory and you're like, here you go, Dungeon Master. To me, I'd be like, okay, I imagine they want it. But
yeah.
I think there should always be a little bit of communication as to, like, by the way, I'd love it if some of this gets explored.
Totally, yeah, totally.
But, you know, if everyone else's backstory had been touched on in these 50 sessions, apart from his.
Yeah, strange.
I do think that's unfair.
Yeah.
And 5 players, that's enough time.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Did you hear the noise?
I don't know if it'll get.
I don't know if you guys heard that noise, but I just made a really weird noise.
In my opinion, we're 22 sessions in.
Yeah.
And we've touched on everyone's.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Like, to a degree. Others more just because of where we've been.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, there's a place in the world where your backstory is
absolutely
ready to unfold when you go.
Absolutely.
Josh's is almost completely done.
Yeah.
Abby's is, you know,
unfolding.
Matthew's
is unfolding.
Yeah, Matthew still has more to come, but we've touched on bits.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's 22 sessions in.
Totally.
But that's the thing, like, you guys, like I said before, you guys fucking plow through the stuff I have planned.
Yeah.
Some people might go a bit slower.
But, you know, I do agree. 50 sessions and not knowing a single thing.
That's not good enough, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, now we come to me. I stayed in a little longer, but my exit from the campaign was not under my control. So here we go. I too experienced no backstory with the party. The party had no idea about my character, no idea who I was, why I was there, and her desperate plight. Yes, I wanted to keep a lot of my backstory secret at the beginning, but after 50 8-hour sessions, you'd think the party would have...
8-hour sessions?
58-hour sessions. You'd think
Let me do the math.
You'd think the party would have something, or that I would be given something. Do you want me to keep talking while you're doing that math, or
400 hours of gameplay?
400 hours,
and you didn't touch on either of the backstories.
Yeah.
That's
and again,
not...
I don't really know if the other backstories were touched on or not, but
like, what, any like, that has to be the greatest main plot on Earth. To not touch on any backstories in that time.
Yeah. Sorry, there was a lot of silence there. I'm so sorry.
I thought you were about to read because you were deep in contemplation of
I've
reading it.
I've totally lost where I was.
Sorry.
Yeah, you'd think there would be something, but no.
You would.
The other players began to ignore my character and became exhausted by the things that came up for her. It was too little too late, and they just didn't care enough anymore.
I'm surprised because your character hasn't been explored at all.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I loved my character, and I pushed through, even though each session was hard. I wanted a conclusion for them. Your character becomes like a friend, a pet, or a family member after that amount of time.
Agree. Especially after 400 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just couldn't let her go by leaving the campaign. Totally. I understand that. Now, here's how I left. The DM was a big rules lawyer, knew the books inside out. But as many know, some of the rules can be so boring and can make combat unenjoyable. Totally.
Yeah, I get that.
For example, when I cast animate objects, I liked to animate a pile of buttons and describe them shooting through the enemy like gamma rays. The DM decided he didn't like this and forced my character to carry 10 pittons.
Literally, last campaign, Matthew was a sorcerer who casted animate objects.
Yeah.
He got pots and pans.
Yeah, yeah.
He got pots and pans.
Yeah, like,
you know, I didn't say, no, you have to get swords.
Yeah, and he created loads of clay characters, which he animated as well.
Clay characters around a campfire.
Yeah, yeah.
And animated them.
Yeah, like...
It's just fucking flavour.
Why do you have to carry 10 pittons, and then the DM then proceeded to make me lose them, so I couldn't cast the spell. Like, say you don't want your player to have fun without telling them.
Yeah, 100%.
The DM said buttons wouldn't have caused damage anyway. It's a spell. It's a game. Let me flavor it how I want to.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agree.
Then eventually the DM banned me from using the spell entirely. A spell which, by the way, had previously saved us from a TPK against a white dragon.
It's a unreal spell.
Oh yeah,
like
and
the spell does so much damage.
And I get it, but like, I feel like there's a correlation between the fact that it saved the TPK and then suddenly it was banned. Suddenly you weren't allowed to use it anymore.
It's a high damage spell, but it's concentration.
Granted, it's a lot to manage as well, because you can animate up to like 10 things.
I think it's maybe 8 or 10 or something like that.
So
there's a lot of objects.
It's a lot to manage, but like, come on, it's still, like you said, it's a concentration spell. It's a level 4?
I'm pretty sure.
Fourth level spell, maybe.
Spell.
Oh, is it a 3rd level spell? No, surely not. He's pulling it up.
I'm pulling it up.
He's pulling up the info.
This is proper podcasting for you guys.
Yeah.
5th level.
It's a 5th level spell. Yeah. So, a spell which should save us from a TPK against a white dragon. They even went so far as to ask people privately if they thought I was a problem player, instead of talking to me, their friend. People told me about this, and eventually the DM and I had a chat. I agreed to completely change the way I played, ask fewer questions, cast simpler spells, decreased my roleplay, and got rid of all flavour and creativity that was annoying my DM, which made me feel ostracized. I
completely understand.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have had to do any of those things.
I tried to change the way I played to please my DM, but it didn't seem to make a difference. And despite all of this, I still played. I engaged, I roleplayed, I battled, and I always made sure to send very happy Discord messages to the DM, complimenting their ideas and how the session was ran, because I never wanted them to stop enjoying D&D the way that I had. Man, this is a terrible situation. This is an awful situation.
DM sucks.
Yeah. Finally, I broke up with my partner of 1 year. We had history and it was hard to do, but I was suffering. We ended things amicably, and that's where I thought it would end. And no, my ex-partner was not part of the campaign. They were just more of a loose acquaintance to the DM and hardly knew the other players. I missed 2 sessions while I was on holiday, a very rare occurrence. Even with COVID, I called in to listen to be up to date. And my brother had to step in with a temporary new character to support the party.
Mm-hmm.
Things came to a head when my ex-partner contacted my brother during the 2nd session and accused me of cheating 3 weeks after we split. This was completely untrue, but my ex wanted to hurt me and succeeded. My ex then called the dungeon master, who was their acquaintance at best, who then proceeded to put my ex on speakerphone to accuse me in front of the entire party. My closest friends, while I wasn't there. People who I had known for years and had played D&D with 2 years through lockdown. The entire table turned on me with my brother sitting in shock. The 8-hour session turned into an 8-hour rant on everything they hated about me. The DM, one of my best friends, turning me into some monster with no proof of what I had done. The entire party made a new Discord chat without me in it and continued to play without my knowledge. My brother dropped out again. He told them how nasty they all were, and they finally stood up to the DM. They killed my character and erased my existence. Not once did anyone reach out to me for my side of the story. Half the table was in my own campaign, which I put my heart into, and that's over now. I have no one to play with, and all my friends turned on me. I didn't think people I cared for so much could be so heartless. I drew their characters, NPCs, made coasters inspired by everyone's characters, made custom character sheets. I tried so hard to be a good player. I assumed that the table used it as an opportunity to get rid of me because they stopped enjoying my character, and the DM didn't enjoy how I challenged their ruling on flavorful things. So there you have it, how all of my friends abandoned me and how I lost 2 years of life and the best character I ever had and ever will build, dead and gone with no conclusion. Like every story, everyone has a different point of view, and there is always more, but I cannot stress how dedicated my brother and I were to D&D and the DM's campaign. What was the best day of our week turned into the worst, but our friends made us happy, and before we even knew it, even that was gone. Jesus Christ.
So this is a D&D podcast, right? But this person isn't just a bad DM. They are a bad DM.
Yeah.
They're a bad DM.
Yeah.
But above anything else, this person is a...
Yeah. This person is a bad friend.
This person
is a bad...
terrible, trash, scum of the earth. To get your ex on speakerphone to the rest of the party when you weren't there.
I know. Like, knowing you weren't there and to put them on speakerphone.
Ooh,
so you could...
That's nobody else's business other than you and your ex.
Absolutely. And, you know, your ex was obviously intentionally trying to make it everyone. 100%. Like, this is like this is a textbook, like, manipulation, trying to, like, get everyone on your side.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course there's two sides to every story. Of course there is. I understand that. And regardless of that, still shouldn't have put your ex on speakerphone.
That's none of the D&D
Why would
party's
that be
business.
Especially because your ex didn't play with them.
Yeah.
Right?
See, like
regardless of if they play with them, none of their business.
All of that is bad. All of that is horrendous.
Yeah.
That is terrible behavior, human being to human being bad behavior. The things, you know, this is a D&D inspired podcast.
Yeah.
So, like, to talk about the things that happened in
the game.
Like, if your brother went to the DM and was like, I don't like being the heal bot.
Yeah.
You know, like, you were new to D&D, so how were you to know what play style you were gonna like?
Totally.
What play style you weren't gonna like? Margaret played D&D for like 2 years before she tried to heal. And she thought she would like it. She started playing healer. She hated it.
Yeah, hated it.
I gave her a staff of healing, so she didn't have to spend her spell slots on it.
Yeah.
You know, like, your DM should accommodate you if that's the case.
Yeah. There should always be some level of flexibility.
To even go to the extent of being like, do you want to change your subclass?
Yeah, totally. And the fact that in the end, your brother just had to leave because of it.
Yeah.
Like, and then to, first of all, not allow you to cast a spell, but to go about it being like, oh, you can't do it like that. Oh, you have to have pittance. Oh, you lost the pittance. And then to finally be like, oh, you can't cast the spell. If your DM had a problem with the spell, they should have just said it.
Yeah.
They should have
they
just
did
outright
have a problem
said
with
it.
the spell.
Obviously, because they banned it in the end.
Yeah.
They should have just said, I don't like you using that spell.
I get it. Because, like, animate objects can be a cumbersome spell.
Yeah, no, totally.
Like,
totally, yeah, DM, I get it, yeah.
Like, we play on Tailspire.
Yeah.
And it's hard to come across on Tailspire.
Yeah.
Animate objects, it is. But, you know, like, I just have to say to the party, just, like, if you're going to cast a spell, just bear with me.
Yeah, we're just going to have to work something out. Yeah, totally.
Like, figure it out.
Again, if you ever had a problem with a spell, if there was something you didn't want someone to use, you just tell them.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, well,
because,
know,
the whole point is you come to D&D to live out a fantasy and play a class. Like, when I remember when I wanted to play Jasper.
Yeah.
Jasper was a blade singer who, you know, like, lived like the song that came out of his blade was the first song that him and his wife ever fucking listened to when they danced. And it reminds her of it. Like, the whole point was about the blades. So, like, he was going to get, when he cast animated objects, he was just going to, like, have spectral swords around him. Like, that, you know, I think about how I want to flavor it because that's the fantasy of the game. You know, that's the point of the game.
Yeah, totally.
For someone to be like, no, you can't do it like that. Like, I understand you wanted to have it as buttons. Because
yeah,
totally.
There
was flavor.
Yeah, well, as you said, Lirry, that obviously there was flavor you wanted to give there.
And like that's so important, in my opinion.
I completely agree. And obviously, this is important to Lirry as well. And to not touch on the backstories in 50 sessions. Again, we don't know if the others were touched on or not.
58-hour session,
like 400 hours,
too long.
Totally, I completely agree. And
fuck this DM.
There should have been a conversation had about it, but I understand why you wouldn't want to, because your brother went to the DM and the DM was like, yeah, we'll sort it.
Did
nothing. So then your brother left. And again, and to me, what it sounds like is this group of people, because you joined them later in the campaign. It was an established 1-year-old campaign by the time Lirry and her brother joined. Maybe. To me, it sounds like they just didn't like you.
No.
It sounds like they simply didn't like you and your brother for whatever reason, and they were too spineless to actually say it to you. Yeah. So they wanted to make your life as difficult as possible to try to get you to leave, which is just pathetic. We're not children anymore. We're adults who should have conversations with people.
Yeah, like, as soon as the cleric goes to the DM, I don't want to heal anymore. There should have been like, how should we fix this?
Yeah, totally.
Like, there should have been like a conversation.
Totally.
And a few ideas thrown out on both ends as to like how we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
What can you do to help yourself?
Absolutely.
And like, how should we go about this change?
Yeah, and I think you said it best yourself, Lirry. You said it feels like they just wanted an excuse, and it sounds like
100%.
The fact that while your brother was sitting there, they took the whole 8 hours to rant about you and the things they didn't like about you.
Knowing that your brother's there.
That's just two-faced, spineless behavior.
Behavior.
Totally. They obviously wanted you gone, and they should have just said,
like, with your brother in the room.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Knowing
how
that
terrible.
your brother was going to tell you.
If that were me, I cannot promise that I wouldn't fucking throw hands. Violence is never the answer. That was a joke. But Lirry, I'm so sorry that happened. And yes, you are right. There's two sides to every story. I totally get it. You acknowledged yourself that you potentially asked too many questions and that you questioned the DM too much or whatever. And the fact that you can retroactively look back on that. But the problem is...
But the thing is, right, if that's the case, if you're like, I asked too many questions, and like, if the DM had a problem with it, they should have just said...
Why didn't your DM just say to you...
Why did the DM just say, like, you ask too many questions and you question like what I'm doing? Like, if it's a problem, then deal with it.
Totally.
Don't
just
manifest it and sit on it and then let it explode in this pathetic
like in this
rant.
awful way. Because this is what happens when conversations aren't had.
Yeah.
And problems that are bubbling don't get brought to the surface. It's always going to end like this.
This is how it ends.
And this is life advice. This is true in any facet of your life, right? If there is a problem and you know it and it's bubbling, it's always going to come out like this, and it's going to be fucking terrible for everyone when it does.
The conversation is always going to be hard.
Like, oh my God!
Like, if you've got a problem with somebody,
obviously,
if you've got a problem with somebody in your party, having that conversation is going to be tough. But I'll tell you what, it's going to end up better than if it bubbles over
and it turns out like this. This is past the point of repair.
Oh yeah, no, there's no way.
No way. If a conversation
to be honest,
was had,
like, the behavior that this DM has shown, would be reason enough to get out.
That the whole group has shown. The fact that they put your ex on speakerphone,
but even
that is such a violation of your privacy.
Like, they're not touching on the backstories. The no, you can't cast a spell like this. In fact, I don't like the spell. You can't have it anymore. All of that is enough for most people to be like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
But like, for you to stick it out and be like, I always message them and stuff like that.
Yeah, you obviously tried.
You've done too much for this person.
Yeah, totally. And I think, unfortunately, this person had made their mind up on you long ago. And nothing you were going to be able to do would have changed it. And probably you trying pissed them off more. Which is the problem. When you don't talk about these things. Yeah, so terrible. The whole group's a terrible person. Your ex is a terrible person. Regardless of how annoying or whatever they thought you were, they should have never, ever, ever treat you like this.
No, this shouldn't have been the way it ended.
Never. And I'm so sorry that this happened.
Sorry.
I feel like that's a true horror story, really, right?
I feel like you should join the Discord.
Totally, Lirry,
and
please.
I feel like you should get yourself in the elevator.
Totally, please join the Discord.
You and your brother.
Yes, totally. Please do. And again, if any of you have follow-ups to these, please let us know.
Please let us know. That was dreadful.
I know, that was absolutely terrible, isn't it? That is mortifying. Like,
horrendous.
on a human level.
Yeah, on a human level. Not
outside
just
of D&D.
A D&D level, it's bad.
That's so terrible.
On a human level,
that's so awful.
It's just the worst.
That's terrible crack. Okay, so on to... I don't know. This is probably going to be a long one, guys. Sorry.
It already is long.
It already is long. Number something. Cheers. So...
And the devil.
Okay. So, the DM keeps talking to the party in a condescending way and doesn't respect our wishes. This was submitted by Anonymous, and she goes by she, her.
Okay. Anonoblaster.
Thank you very much. So, my friends and I were looking for a DM to run an online campaign for us. We quickly found someone, and we were playing weekly with him. He seemed like a nice guy. We had a session 0, and we talked about our boundaries. At first, everything was fine and we were all having fun. We even played a few times in real life. There were a few issues, but those were easily solved by communicating them with our DM. Sounds great so far.
Do you want to know what? I'm sad that this went wrong because it was such a good start.
Almost a year in, I started noticing that our DM was being really rude to us. For example, I was asking him if he'd allow my cleric to do something, and he quickly got mad and told me that it wasn't my place to decide something like that, and only the DM can say yes or no to a question like that. I was surprised by his reaction back then, and I didn't know what to say. I mean, I know that the DM has to tell me if I can do something or not, and that's why I asked him. Weird.
That does sound very weird.
Yeah. This kind of situation kept happening to me and the other players. I wasn't sure if I was just imagining it, so I asked the other players how they felt, and they also said that they didn't like how he was talking to us. And it kept going like that. One of us asked him if we could do something, and he got mad and talked down at us for stepping over the line and not respecting him as a DM. Not only that, but he started making weird sexual comments about our characters, which made us feel really uncomfortable. He also always called us his favorites and darlings, which was kind of weird, but we thought that was just his way of telling us that he liked us as players. After some time, he told us that he needed a break because he had some real-life problems and needed some more time for himself, which made sense because he was running 5 campaigns in total. We told him he could take a break for as long as he needed and come back whenever he was ready. Thinking that this was the root of the problem, we didn't bring our issues up to him because we didn't want to add any more stress to his existing ones. The said DM was also running another campaign with different people. One of them was a friend of ours, and she told us that he was complaining about how horrible we are and that we kept whining. Side note, he kept playing the other campaign weekly while ours was on a break. So after that, we decided it was time to talk to him about it, since we weren't having a good time and neither was he apparently. We didn't want to throw away the entire campaign because we had reached the final arc after a year of playing. I had hoped for our game, since our DM had told us at the beginning of our campaign that we could always talk to him if something bothered us. We all sat down and told him how we were feeling and that we didn't like his outbursts. It was like talking to a wall. He didn't listen to us at all and he denied everything. Then I asked if he had any problems with us, since apparently he was talking about us in other games, and he also denied that. I told him that that's unfair because how could we change and improve our behavior if he didn't tell us that about anything that he thought we were doing was wrong?
Extremely true.
He kept finding excuses as to why he couldn't tell us, and he just needed a break. Little did he know, we had also seen that he had removed our D&D Beyond character sheets, and that it doesn't look like taking a break, but more like he was trying to get rid of us. He also told us that he didn't want to get rid of us and that him removing our character sheets had other reasons.
Fuck, just tell him.
We could tell that this conversation wasn't going anywhere, and we decided to go separate ways and ended the campaign there and then. Like...
Why?
Man,
If you've got a problem with someone,
I know, and they're coming to you
them.
and saying, "Look, what's the issue?"
Like lying, saying that you've got other things going on. I need a break.
That's not, that couldn't necessarily not be lying.
True.
It sounds like in the end.
But then
in the end, yes, it ended
at that
up.
point,
Yes,
I was like, okay, fair.
yeah.
Especially if you've got 4 other campaigns.
Totally.
That's a lot of campaigns.
Totally.
But
then
all of
go
the other
to the
things,
other campaigns and be like, they're horrible.
They're such whiny bitches.
See, what the fuck? Like, I totally understand. If you have personal things going on, sometimes your behavior can be erratic, and sometimes it can change the way you treat people.
100%.
I totally get that.
But the thing is, they've been like, something's wrong. Let's talk to the DM.
Let's talk to it, because the DM has said from the very beginning.
The DM was like,
no,
something's wrong. I'm gonna ignore it all.
I'm just gonna remove their characters.
I'm gonna stop the session. And I'm gonna slag them off to everyone
else.
Yeah,
and then just hope for the best. Listen, nothing.
And then for them to face you up and be like,
what's
of these
going
things,
on?
And then for him, I think, is it him?
Yes, it is him. It is him.
For him to be like, no, it's not that.
No,
it's not
nothing.
That.
No.
There's a different reason.
I can't tell you why, but there is other reasons. That's just pathetic, spineless behavior.
Just tell them.
Man,
are they not the right group for you?
I cannot stand that. I cannot stand when there is clearly a problem. You go to the person and you're opening up that line of communication, and for whatever reason, some people aren't good with confrontation. I completely understand that.
Send a message then.
Totally. These conversations are always really, really, really difficult. I absolutely understand that.
In whatever capacity you have the conversation, is still better to have the conversation.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it face to face because that scares you.
Yeah, 100%.
Do it over message
100%. Like, but then for them to clearly open up communication and you to go, no,
there's
nothing's wrong. You're my darlings. You're my favorite.
Don't like that, by the way.
That's weird.
Don't like that.
That is weird.
Not a big fan of that.
That's weird. Don't like that.
Don't like that.
That is creepy. I totally
like
agree. I don't like it, especially coupled with the fact that he ended up making strange, weird comments about your characters.
It's a little bit misogynistic.
That's
in my opinion.
Very weird, but quite patronizing.
Yeah.
And like the way, pet or
pet
love.
And
weird. I know. It makes me feel.
Me
sick.
Makes me want to cringe my own dick off.
Yeah. Like potentially that's projecting. Because that is how people have talked to me in the past, and they have meant it in that way.
And also, we don't know the gender of any of the people.
Totally.
That is a little bit projecting.
We know that OP is she, her, and DM is he, him. We don't know that. Yeah. But regardless of that, still weird. That gives me creeps. Yeah, heebie-jeebies a little bit.
Don't like.
Totally.
But yes.
Yeah.
For you to even just go straight to the DM and be like, let's open this line of communication.
I know.
Whatever it is, let's get it sorted.
You've been saying things behind our back.
Which is wrong.
You've said something nasty to our face. I'm coming to you now saying, what's the problem? And you're like, no, nothing. Nothing's wrong. Oh, no.
I just deleted your character sheets, cancelled the session, and don't want to talk to you, and I'm slagging you off to everyone else. But there's nothing wrong.
Hate that. Absolutely hate that. Spineless, pathetic behavior.
It's very spineless.
Hate that. So, OP, sorry about that. You know what? I'm really glad that you had this conversation. You were like, dude is not listening.
No,
we
not
are
at all.
Not getting any further forward, and you just pieced out.
Yeah. Good. That
totally.
Was the right thing to do.
That's the right thing to do. Totally. 100%.
It's as if the DM should have done that if that's what they really wanted to do before. Just be honest.
I know. Well, thank you, OP, for that. Thank you. Sorry that happened.
Yeah. That's
okay. On to the next. I think this is a longer one. I'm going to say this every single time. I'm sorry. And again, thank you guys for always, we have analytics now. We've been doing this long enough for us to actually have some form of analytic. You guys do really engage well with the horror stories, and they're the longest ones by far, because there has to be a lot of context. There has to be a lot of setup.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for, yes, this is going to be a longer episode. Yes, the stories are longer.
No one cares.
No, thank you for listening, and thank you for wanting to hear the people in your community and hearing their stories too. So thank you. Okay, so hello, my pronouns are they, them, and I love D&D, and this is submitted by Anonymous.
Nice.
I wanted to say I'm a big fan of y'all and the environment that you're trying to create. Thank you very much. We're glad you're here.
Glad you're here.
We're glad you're here and glad you're enjoying it. It is the opposite of the environment that I'm going to be talking about today.
And that's why it exists.
Yeah.
Because the opposite environments do.
Yeah. So this is a bit long for us, so apologies for that. Don't apologize, even though I've just apologized.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we should.
Not we, you.
Yeah.
You should.
Sorry.
You should.
Okay. So I have played in several TTRPGs with a few different groups, but usually my two absolute best friends are present in these games. One of them is just as into the game as I am, while the other will play to hang out, but isn't really that interested. Other than this one time she played an Owlin who was very naive and peppy and was trying to be the medieval equivalent of a cheerleader. I love her.
Yeah.
Love
she
her.
sounds great.
Yeah. We are all friends with this other guy who we met because I was roommates with him in college. He's a very sweet guy and we really like him as a person and have enjoyed him as a player in other campaigns. We've had a lot of fun with myself and him as players, and my friend who is into D&D as the DM. So when he said he wanted to try and be a DM, we were excited. Partially because we thought it would be fun to have a new DM style to run with, but mostly because my best friend and I had only gotten to really roleplay off of each other in one campaign, and it was the most fun we'd ever had. I kind of feel like that with you. I feel like...
What?
When we... What?
Which part?
Like when,
there was a lot of different connections there.
We've only really role played with each other very briefly.
Yeah. Well, you
saying
said
our first campaign.
We role play.
Yeah, I know.
I'm the DM,
but like as a player, you know, I really enjoy role playing with you because we're like we're on exactly the same level.
Yeah.
And you know,
we don't mind it getting real.
No, totally.
Mine and Margaret's characters in the first campaign were very, very. We shared a lot of very. We weren't in a relationship.
No, we weren't. No,
but we still shared a lot of very like close moments.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
In that campaign.
Yeah, I feel like Nephemos and Beloved were.
I think they were both. They both like found what they needed in each other.
Totally.
That wasn't a relationship.
Yeah, totally. It was like a bond.
Yeah.
It was.
You needed
stability and a family and someone who cared for me.
Yeah.
And you needed
people.
You needed the same, really.
Yeah, I needed people to look after though.
Yeah.
Like I always needed that.
Yeah, totally. You needed someone to take under your wing a bit. Which was nice. Yeah, agreed. So, sorry. A little bit of gushing there. The DM told us to go ahead and create our characters ahead of time instead of having a session 0, which bummed me out a little bit because my favourite part of the whole process is creating and learning about the characters everyone else had thought up.
Do you want to know what? I'm gonna hit people with a hot take here.
Oh,
I personally, this is gonna sound so counterintuitive as to everything I've ever said. DM session 0s, like a necessity. You have to have them.
Oh, totally.
But you want to know what?
Yes.
I don't actually enjoy them that much.
Oh, yeah, no, you've said this before.
Because when we get together and we're all talking about characters, I'm like, I just want to fucking play right now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I know that I need it.
Yeah, no, totally, absolutely, 100%.
As a player, love a session 0.
I know.
Filling out the character sheet. And
that's it, isn't it?
As a DM, I'm just like, I just want to tell the story now.
I just want to go now. Yeah.
But I know it needs to happen.
Oh, absolutely. No, it has to. Yeah,
every time I have a session 0, I'm like, fuck, man, should we just play now?
I know. We did that. We did that once. We literally did that once. But yeah, I'm exactly the same as you, OP, because I love a session 0. I love hearing about people's shit. I love, like,
so exciting.
It's just like exciting time to get a takeaway and talk with your friends.
And you're like, oh, so what are you playing?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I love that.
And just filling out the character sheet and like
really
looking
exciting.
At all like your equipment. And it is. I don't think there is many feelings like it.
Yeah, I know. It's like a giddy excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, as a DM, I'm like, my feet are getting itchy, and I'm like,
I just want to play now.
I just want to play right now.
Yeah.
But have one.
Also in brackets, OP has said, I have been known to create about 4 characters per game and then struggle to pick which one I want to use. Abby is the character creation queen. She has a million thousand characters.
The things with Abby though, I feel like she hears the world prime and she's like, oh, it's this one.
Yeah.
She looks through the characters.
She combs through them all.
And she's like, oh no, it's this one.
Yeah, totally.
She's got like a theme for each character, and then she picks the theme.
With the absolutely.
Character.
So the DM let us know that a co-worker of his would be joining us for the campaign, which we were fine with. So when we get to the actual day of the first session, we meet the other player, and we'll just call him Dave.
Okay.
Dave was a little younger than us, but he worked with the DM who vouched for him, and they had apparently played a couple of solo campaigns together. Dame Damn.
Damn.
Dave seemed okay at first, if a little energetic, but overall nothing major. We took a few moments to introduce our characters. My friend played a chaotic neutral satyr bard who was old and grizzled and only in it for the gold.
Sounds good.
Dave as a dragonborn ranger, and me, a himbo tiefling warlock who had been found and raised by a family of druids. We were playing a pre-made campaign, Order the Dragon Queen. And that's where the trouble began.
Oh no.
See, Dave was a metagamer. And I'm not one who is totally opposed to a little bit of metagaming to make sure everyone stays on the same page or to answer questions about game mechanics and the like. But Dave took it to a whole other level. Dave read the entire campaign we were about to play once he found out that we were playing it. He memorized things like locations, enemies, and even loot drops from each encounter. And went about it just as well as you would expect. He played as if he was the main character, charging from one story beat to the next, and every time that I and my best friend tried to stop to have a conversation or interaction of any kind, he would just talk over us and just push everyone to the next goal. My best friend and I had a moment where I, being both raised by druids in the wood and being a complete himbo, tried to hand him a bag of gold that I had since knew I knew it was important to him to make money. And he actually softened a bit and told me to keep my money. It was a really good character moment. But before we could really explore anymore, Dave started practically yelling that he was climbing a tower to shoot arrows at a dragon that was flying overhead. We were level 3.
Oh no.
I love the visuals of this really sweet, nice character development moment happening down here, and then the camera just pans up and there's fucking Dave climbing with one hand with his bow in his mouth. I'm about to shoot the dragon, guys.
Guys, hurry up, you don't want to miss the action.
Just strange behavior. So it got worse though when Dave started arguing with our DM anytime he moved through the campaign in a way that wasn't exactly like the campaign was written. They would argue for a few minutes at a time, halting all play and throwing the DM off completely. At one point, after a combat encounter, Dave argued that we were supposed to get healing potions at loot, and that he needed one because he was low on HP. The DM said that we didn't get any health potions though, so he couldn't heal. But Dave disagreed and said that he knew we were supposed to get health potions, so he was just going to use one. He marked up the HP on his character sheet, so he was back to full health, and he wouldn't listen to the DM trying to tell him he couldn't do it. What?
What's the fucking point in having a DM?
I have never heard that before. I've never heard of a situation of the DM being like, no. And then Dave being like, nah.
I'm just gonna drink that healing potion.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Dave, you don't have one.
No, don't worry. I'm drinking it. I'm drinking the potion.
I was supposed to get one,
yeah,
so I'm just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, but Dave, you don't have one. And then Dave,
I
do. Dave, what are you doing? Why are you rubbing out those numbers? Why are you back to Excel?
The thing is, it's so common to take a module and change a few bits.
Oh, totally. Of course.
Some people love to run the module to the T, and some people like to take the module as just guidelines
and just have it as the backbone to the actual story.
And change a bunch of things. That's the
whole point.
I would say that's even more common than running it as standard.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
So for Dave to just be like, no, we were supposed to get that loot there.
We're gonna get this. I've read the module.
There's probably a fucking reason why you didn't get them, Dave.
Come on, Dave. Come on.
No, we were supposed to get one, so I'm just gonna heal myself anyway. That is not how the game works.
That is weird behavior. So at the end of that session, there was a battle with one of the main bad guys.
Good job, Dave was at full health.
Oh, yeah, totally. Thank God, right? Or a main minion, or the main bad guy, or basically just a really powerful minion.
Yeah.
Basically, an enemy that we were not able to beat. So the big guy. So the big guy had a bunch of innocent villagers lined up, and he said that he would kill them unless one of our party dueled him one-on-one. My best friend and I both turned to Dave because, up to that point, he had been wanting to fight every enemy that came along.
Especially the dragon.
Totally. So we were confused when he was just sat with his head down, staring at his character sheet. Hijinks. My character was the only one that was good aligned, so I tried to step up to try. So I stepped up to try. I don't know why.
So I tried to step up to try.
I don't know why I added an
My
extra
legs
try.
were very tired, though.
Mind you, again, I'm a warlock, so I have very little health, and I'm not one for a duel. The Satyr Bard was also not going to be good for that. Even Dave's character wasn't necessarily made for close-up fights, but he was definitely the best choice for it. But he knew that the battle wasn't winnable, because he had read ahead, and he didn't want to risk his character dying, so he just sat on the sidelines to let either myself or my best friend take the risk. My best friend and I made a plan to try to survive the fight, with him secretly casting bardic buffs while I scrambled to survive. While all of this was going on, Dave sat back and watched, laughing at me and telling me I was going to die. He also said a few times that my best friend and I didn't really know how to play D&D because our characters were weak.
Dave, you drank a healing potion that you didn't have.
Dave, I think...
Don't come after people telling them they don't know how to play D&D.
I think there's bigger problems here, Dave. I did survive, luckily, but it took everything my best friend and I had to keep me alive. And the bad guy even let the innocents go, so mission accomplished.
Nice. Good job.
After we called it on the first session, Dave did order a pizza for all of us to eat. But then he said the next session, one of us would have to pay for the pizza. Mind you, there was zero discussion about ordering a pizza as a group, and no one asked him to pay for the pizza. This is a small detail compared to the rest, but after the long session of him overruling everything and everything anyone tried to do, including the DM, this was the final straw for me. I ate the pizza and left.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Get your money's worth out of Dave.
Totally. I checked in with my best friend afterwards, and he was just as frustrated about it as I was. We both had a discussion with the DM at the same time. He was much more diplomatic than me. I told the DM that Dave was a prick and that I couldn't play with him again unless the DM told the asshole to chill out. The DM seemed really hesitant about it, but I told him that he either got control of Dave and the campaign, or I was done playing. About a week went by and the DM messaged me and my best friend and told us he'd had a talk with Dave and that things would be better for next session. I was very much not planning on being part of it anymore, but my want to roleplay opposite my best friend overruled my hesitation. Plus, another friend... Why did I say hesitation like that?
I didn't think it was that weird.
Did you not?
No.
Plus, another friend of ours was going to join, and my other best friend, the Owlin cheerleader, we'll call her Laura, decided to come just to hang out but not to play.
Oh.
Now, she was the only female presenting them. Dave was the last to show up, and he decided that despite the fact that Laura was married to my best friend and was clearly displaying zero interest in speaking with him, he pushed his way in to sit next to her, talk to her about how good he was at D&D and how powerful his character was, and talking down to her about creating a character, trying to pressure her into letting him create a character for her so she could play, when she repeated multiple times that she knew how to create a character because she'd done it before, and that she just didn't want to play, but he would just not stop. Wow, I'm so shocked. I'm really surprised at Dave's behaviour around Laura. He also kept looking her up and down, which made me ready to throw hands. I turned to Laura and I told her I forgot something in my car and asked her to help me find it to get her away from him for a moment at least. That's a great thing to do, by the way. If you can tell that... to be fair, it sounds like Laura was handling herself, taking no shit.
Sounds like she was handling herself, but it's still nice to do.
It's nice to check in, and if you see this, especially if it's a dude being weird with a girl, take that time to get them away and double check that they're all right.
And just a little one, guys. Not every girl finds you attractive.
Totally. And especially if she's married to the person who's there.
Even if she's not.
Like, oh no, totally.
Even if she's not.
Even if she is the single
girl
Pringle.
Wants to talk to
you.
No,
totally not. Absolutely
not.
not.
Every girl
no way.
Finds you attractive.
No. And they don't owe it to you to talk to you.
Do you want to know what? They owe you
zero.
Absolutely nothing.
Literally nothing.
Do not force yourself upon women.
Just the idea of him being like, everyone's sitting down and him like booty bouncing his way in to sit next to her. No,
I want to see how strong.
No, I see him as a really weird, creepy dude who was like, no, please, please. He's like clawing his way.
Just like Not every girl wants to talk to
Nope.
you.
And
not every girl needs your attention.
Yeah, they owe you nothing.
Just let them, live their lives.
Just exist.
Their lives
as
aren't
a normal
there
human being to please you.
for you.
Totally.
So just remember that.
Yeah. She and I stood outside talking about it for a little bit. Then when she was ready to go back inside, we did. We started the session immediately after we got back into the house, so he couldn't start going at Laura again. But Dave started right back in, trying to talk over everyone, trying to be the main character, trying to push everyone to the next objective. So we just stopped playing along. We would refuse to move on to the next objective at all. We would sit around and just talk to each other about random stuff, or at times even actively going the opposite direction that Dave was going. That session ended up being more fun, but for all the wrong reasons. At the end of it, Dave asked who was paying for the pizza this time. We all told him that we had already eaten and we had to leave because we needed to get home, then we all left. After that session, I told the DM I was done and that he should have gotten control like he said he was going to. I was really irritated and the DM just said he understood. My best friend also said he wouldn't be joining for another session, so basically the whole campaign fell apart after only 2 sessions. We've all talked about it since, and I've recently found out that the DM stopped playing with Dave because he also got tired of the behaviour. I've had a few awful D&D moments, but that was by far the worst. Sounds it.
The only thing is, the DM works with Dave, right?
Huh?
The DM works with Dave.
Yeah, is a colleague. Yeah. So I do understand.
Like, I understand Dave is being a prick.
Oh, yeah, Dave's being a total loser here. Yeah, totally.
Dave is in the wrong.
Totally.
The way Dave acted in the session.
Yep.
Questioning the DM.
Reading ahead.
Healing himself.
Like, not letting you guys do anything.
Metagaming the last bit and being like, oh, I've read this and I know that you're supposed to die, so you guys can go and do it. Basically, didn't say that, but that was the point.
Yeah, totally. Well, no, Dave actively was like, aha, you're going to die.
After they went in, though, and, acting like that way with Laura, like,
unacceptable.
As we've said,
unacceptable.
Not every girl cares about you and wants your attention.
Totally.
All of that's wrong, but if you work with someone, you have another relationship that you've got to deal with. Like,
for, the majority of your, day as well.
Like, you go to work, and then, the thing is, right, if you kick Dave out and you're like, Dave, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
You got to then go to work the next day.
And deal with Dave every day. And you know what? Sounds like Dave, this is just me assuming, sounds like Dave is willing to be an asshole in-game and probably out of game, right?
Yeah, and, I understand that the DM should probably have gotten control of it, but I think there has to be an element of the DM also has
obligations.
Another obligation.
Totally.
With Dave.
And the only thing I will say, OP, is the only thing, because Dave is totally in the wrong here.
Oh, Dave's an asshole.
You were bothered by it, and then to sit there and then just in character, just ignore Dave. And then go against what Dave wanted and intentionally do that in character. I think there should have been an element of you saying above board about Dave's behavior. I think there should have been an above board, you going, Dave, stop that.
I mean, yeah.
Because it feels a little passive-aggressive. And I understand why it would be passive-aggressive
to me,
at this point.
That point, they sort of knew that they weren't going to play with Dave.
Yeah.
So they were just
just going with it. Yeah.
Fuck off, Dave.
Yeah.
And we're going to do whatever we want for the rest of the session.
Yeah. That's honestly the only thing I would say is that is potentially, that is passive aggressive. But
I don't know if I fuck Dave.
Oh, no, totally fuck Dave. Yeah,
at that point,
absolutely.
At that point, I think OP had basically been like, we ain't playing again. I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of this time
fucking loser
and fucking just chill with my friends.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Do you know what? I think I would do the fucking same at that point.
Do you think?
In that moment?
Yeah, I
get what you mean.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Dave fucking deserves that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
But I do understand, it is tough because I agree that the DM should have got a hold of Dave and been like,
Dave, stop it. I know.
But at the same time, they have another relationship outside of D&D with Dave where they have to go to work
and it's horrible, and we live in a fucking capitalist world, and it's awful.
Yeah.
I hate it, but I'm assuming your DM, if they work with them, they spend the majority of their life
like
with
you
this
spend
person.
the majority of your life with the people you work with. Sadly, like Margaret said,
that is really tricky, I think. But it sounds like in the end that they fucking didn't stop playing with Dave anyway.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah, they probably got to the point where they're like, I know, but I'm just in a bit of a sticky situation because I fucking work with him.
Yeah, especially, DM said that DM was hesitant to talk to Dave. And it sounds like Dave would have, I can't imagine that conversation would have gone down well.
Dave's a fucking nightmare.
Dave is a nightmare. Dave is a total nightmare.
Nightmare.
Totally. That is just like typical like bad player behavior example, I think. They're having a really nice moment and then on the tower.
He's dragging his mind.
At level 3.
Level 3.
Oh man, OP. I'm sorry about that. I hope that you and your friends still play D&D together, and I hope that you've managed to
join the Discord.
Totally.
Just me.
Join the Discord. Just shilling our Discord.
Shilling the Discord every time.
It's barren. There's no one.
No one's in there.
Okay, so on to the next one. I don't know what number this is at all. I've stopped writing the numbers next to them because
I know you did.
What's the point, I'm not gonna know. You're probably not gonna know. You're not gonna know. So, hello, I'm gonna go by the name JP, he, him, for this story, just in case. This is a bit of a long one, so apologies in advance.
No worries,
Not
JP.
a problem.
Nice to have you here.
So my friends and I are relatively new to D&D. I was the DM for our first campaign, and my other friend, Caleb, was the DM for our Waterdeep run. We are a small group of 4 players and 1 DM, and one of the players, James, wanted to run an isekai campaign that he was making. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is, but...
What's it called?
Isekai, Isekai. God, watch me be pronouncing that absolutely, completely wrong.
It looks like a anime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Genre,
regardless, it's okay. So a campaign that he was making. Yeah. We were skeptical at first because James tends to have main character syndrome, but we wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt and do it since he was really excited talking about it. Caleb and I also gave some advice to James for him to at least write some stuff for the campaign ahead of time so he doesn't have to improv everything on the spot and struggle with it. All we got was, I know what I'm doing. And he didn't write anything down. James told us that we can choose the classes and skills that we believe fit us the most. I wanted to do a warlock because I have worked in occult shops and have always loved horror stuff.
Cool.
James DM'd me on the side and told me that I can't play a warlock because I can't sell my soul. I brought up to him that selling your soul isn't the only way warlocks make pacts with their patrons. Then I brought up if I play a hexblade, my patron could just be a sword that just wants to fight, and he said okay. To start the campaign, he wanted us to act out of game, us being sucked into a portal that opened up from a rock that I had found.
So that is what isekai is.
Okay, right.
So isekai, the genre focuses on characters that are transported to other worlds
and
must find a way to survive while usually completing some sort of task.
Okay, cool. That's good context. Thank you. And then in brackets, and yes, that included him wanting us to shout out loud as if we're plummeting into the void. I love roleplay. Listen.
Yeah, so you would have loved that, right?
I think I would have actually wanted to touch a rock and have myself actually plummet into the void instead of having to do that, to be honest. To be totally transparent with you. In game.
Hey, that's what you want.
Yeah,
that's
fair. There's nothing wrong with that. That's literally just role playing. Me personally, send me into the void. In game, when we finally start, he asks all of us to make Come on. He asks all of us to make
What's happened?
To make dex saving throws as we are falling from the sky.
Yes.
Thankfully, none of us rolled below a 14. Caleb rolled a 15 and landed in a pond, and I rolled a 14. Side note, I am a big guy. After Caleb gets up from falling into the pond, James describes as Caleb hears a whistling noise from the sky. I come flying down into the pond, landing onto Caleb and releasing a large cannonball-style splash. I kind of felt uncomfortable at that, and so did Caleb, because it's known to the table that I have issues with my weight.
Hey.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah, that's...
I'm a bigger dude.
I'm a bigger gal.
Don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
We get it.
We get it. After that, the party all find each other near the pond and are trying to discuss where to go. Caleb and I wanted to follow a stream that was flowing from the pond to see if it would lead to a town or something. However, James is, and in bold, DMPC, ! Was very adamant that we should all follow him into the woods because he had a feeling. We came across an abandoned little shack in the woods, and as a group, we decided to make it our temporary base for the night before going forward. We all took tasks to make sure the place was safe. Caleb, James, and another player went out in search of food. So going forward, whenever I say James in this, we're talking about James's DMPC.
So it's not about the character that he's playing in his own game.
Yes, we're talking about his NPC that's playing with the group. It will all make sense.
Okay.
They came across a nest and heard something in the bushes, only to see what James describes as a big chicken with a lizard tail. Caleb and the other player went to attack it. James pulls them away, saying, "Guys, we have to go. I know exactly what that thing is. We have to run." And then cut to every player running into the house. Suddenly, we are just overwhelmed by cockatrices. We all have to pick a number to see what weapons we get. Some get pans, a fire poker. I got a stick, not a...
I got a stick.
Not a large walking stick or club.
Just
a twig. That only did 1d4 damage.
Nice. Do you know what? I'm surprised it did 1d4 damage.
But wonderfully, James got a rusty sword.
Oh, interesting.
When we started planning out what spells to cast, we were told that for some plot purposes, we weren't able to do any magic. So we were naked, fending off a horde of large, scaly chickens without any magic or armor to help us.
Okay.
Naked and afraid.
Okay.
Combat felt like another layer of hell.
Okay.
We didn't roll for initiative, and the DM called out our names for us to attack, leading for the other players getting called out. For us to attack, leading for the other players getting called out a lot. Meanwhile, Caleb and I got called once each. Towards the end of the combat, Caleb mentions how neither him or I didn't really get turns. James counters, saying, "We just went, and we can go again now." Caleb is able to strike a cockatrice, killing it. Suddenly, another one bursts through the walls of the house and bites down on him, instantly poisoning him with no saving throw. After the combat had ended, we were saved by a night patrol who killed the rest of the creatures. They took all of us to their city to get help, to get help and care for those of us who were injured, including Caleb, who was still poisoned.
Okay.
The head knight asked who our party leader was, and Caleb jokingly said it was him. James was not happy with that. James came up...
I can just imagine, I am, and James goes, boom. You. What?
James came up with multiple ways to say that Caleb can't be the leader.
Why?
From the poison is making your words slur to you're passing out from the poison now and you can't talk. It was painful to watch. James would go on to say to the knight that Caleb is the group's clown. This was really pissing off Caleb.
I'm not surprised.
And he was definitely showing it at the table. I told the knight that he was poisoned and needed immediate medical treatment so the moment could end. Thankfully, the next day, we were all able to get armor, weapons, spells, and Caleb was cured. The ending of the session was maybe the cringiest moment of all, though. We all left to go...
It all sounds pretty cringy.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry.
We all left to go find a cave where monsters live. And as we took a break for lunch, James wandered off into the nearby woods for no reason. This is in-game still, by the way. When I first read it, I was like, the DM wandered into the woods. He comes back freaking out and tells the entire party to follow him with no details. We followed him into a serene clearing into the woods, where we found a stone in the center with a large gilded sword embedded into it. Caleb tries to get the sword out, but it doesn't budge. I try to do so, and so does the rest of the party, and nothing happens.
I wonder.
Go on, say the next sentence out loud.
I don't know. I couldn't possibly guess.
It's going to be such a plot twist.
I think it's going to be a plot twist.
This was until James goes over to take the sword out.
What?
Shocking to no one. The sword comes right out of the stone with the sword glowing. Also at this moment, out of game, he is acting out with a wooden sword, which could have been fun if it wasn't being swung around with barely any care. He describes as he swings the sword around and it slashes the nearby trees with energy. And then he ends the session on that note. We wanted to play this campaign with him because he was so enthusiastic about it, but it just felt too taxing and like it was just based around him. We talked to him about it.
That is exactly what it is.
We talked to him about it the next week and discussed how we felt about it and gave him resources and lent him books so he could read more about DMing, but all we got was a So it kind of shot our anticipation down, but we do still hope we can do it again. So, JP, you know what? Good on you for wanting to play with your friend.
It doesn't...
You know what? Yes, you say it was cringy and it was painful and all this, but you know, you end it saying, I hope we can do it again, and he's enthusiastic.
You know, if you're friends and stuff,
yeah,
I get
totally.
It.
Like, as long as, you know, no one's like
getting hurt.
Yeah.
And
no one's being like nasty or toxic to each other. Like, this is just
do you know what?
Weird one.
It sounds like, to me, personally,
yeah,
it sounds like my idea of fucking hell to play this campaign. Personally.
Agreed.
Like, it sounds like it's just self-service for James.
No, totally.
That's all it sounds
totally.
like.
And you know what? If it was just like a one-time thing, well, I don't know if it was a one-time thing.
And look, there's there's rules. There's not only rules for a reason. Rules are, you know, to keep things in order. But you know, some of them are there because that's the fucking that's the best way to do it.
That's just the breaks, isn't it?
Like initiative.
Yeah.
Like that's a great way to track, to make sure
exactly
that
what's going on, right?
And to make sure everyone gets to go.
Everyone participates.
Yeah,
totally.
And you know, there's saving throws.
And you know, the fact that what was he being called? James. He was like, I got it. I know what I'm doing. You know, maybe
Look, if you don't want to make notes, that's fine.
Yeah, totally.
Like, there's a lot of DMs out there that don't make notes.
Totally.
They just like to freeball it
Absolutely.
because that's the way that they work the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like last night's session, like we said, we went completely off track of anything that I had planned.
Yeah.
But I knew what was going to happen when we got there,
Yeah.
so I freeballed it.
Yeah.
And because I kind of like that.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
Yeah, totally.
But like DMPCs are quite a controversial topic.
Yes, totally. Like, I love a DMPC.
I like an NPC that, you know, can be there for, you know, if you're going on a dungeon crawl and
like,
I was in there when that thing happened. Like,
Yeah.
I'll show you the way.
Yeah.
And maybe they can help out in combat.
Totally. Or someone
know?
who you can constantly refer to or like, you know, have a point of contact with.
But like they're there to
help push the story along.
Like, if you've got any questions, you can go to this NPC.
Absolutely.
For them to like help you understand.
NPCs are like an integral part of it.
Yeah.
However,
a main character.
That's what it is, right? You know what? It sounds like your friend should just like write a book or something. Like that sounded really sarcastic, but like seriously, maybe your friend should just like get into like creative writing or get into like the theater.
I don't understand why this person wants to be the DM. Clearly, they want to be
the
player.
I know,
like, but the thing is, you got to share the spotlight.
Totally, and like, yeah, you're right. It's self-serving. All of us are self-serving, right?
Yeah.
There's a time and place for everyone to have their moment.
Not to the detriment of your players.
Exactly.
Though, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe your friend would just. Maybe James would just prefer to be a player.
Unless you all are happy.
Yeah, which to be fair, the fact that you say
sit along with the ride as James like tells the story.
You say, I hope we can do it again. So, you know, this isn't really a horror story. This is kind of more of a lighthearted.
Yeah, it's lighthearted. And
Totally.
you know, if you're fine for James to like be the DM
Yeah.
and a player and have a lot of the spotlight.
It doesn't sound like James is being a dickhead.
No.
It just sounds like James.
This is clearly what James wants.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If you've got very patient friends, which sounds like you are,
that
can come along for the ride, then I guess it's fine.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this would frustrate me.
Yeah, it would frustrate me as well.
I think there's a lot of less patient people.
But then I don't think that there's malice
but
here.
I don't think James is being a dick.
No.
James is just living his best life.
James is just being
the main
Excalibur
character.
Yeah, totally.
Like you said at the beginning, James suffers from main character syndrome a little bit, and
it happens.
That really shows in this story.
Totally. Well, thank you, JP, for your story. That was a nice palate cleanser.
That was a fun story.
That was a nice one. All right. I think, you know what? I think this is the last one.
All right, cool.
Yes, this is the last one.
Awesome.
I was going to say we got here real quick. We didn't.
The timer is on 2 hours and 13 minutes.
On 2 hours and 13
so I don't think we got here particularly quick.
No. Okay, so this last one was sent in by Brandon, and he goes by he, him.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
See you in the disco.
Right. Yeah. So I, 28 male, he, him, typically played the role of DM for about 4 years across a dozen or more campaigns. I'm not the overly creative type, and I enjoy the role of the DM. I'm not the overly creative type, and I enjoy the role of DM serving as an organizer and otherwise behind the scenes actor.
Yeah. That's not uncommon, I don't think.
Yeah, totally. I love D&D, and I regularly watch content, including podcasts, various creative TikTok accounts, etc.
Amazing.
In October 2019, I distanced myself from D&D for a few reasons, but one stood head and shoulders above the rest. To give background, as a DM, I am typically quite collaborative when it comes to strictness to 5e. We discuss any rule changes or homebrew quirks that may be present in Session 0 to minimize confusion. Perfect. As it should be, Brandon. My overall vibe as a DM is, if everyone agrees, it can be done and I'll find a way. This often resulted in me researching other already established mechanics to find a way to make a party's vision a viable campaign idea. This typically goes over well with my parties, but I also have a few rules that I've picked up from experiences I've had while DMing. These rules are what led to my horror story. First of all, that sounds great. You sound like a great DM, Brandon.
Yeah.
That sounds...
You sound great.
You sound like exactly how you play it, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like with the whole, if everyone kind of wants to do it, you'll find a way to do it, and you're willing to listen to what people want to do and stuff like that.
I love giving shit a try.
You do.
Yeah, even if it doesn't sound great to me,
yeah,
I'm happy to be like, well, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, totally.
In the moment, it could work perfectly.
Totally.
And sometimes the things that sound great, when you try them, actually don't sound that good.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think
absolutely.
As long as your players know about every role.
Yes,
and
which
how
it sounds like they do.
Yeah. I think it's totally fine to give everything a go.
Yeah. I worked at a school, and my campaigns met in an area that was very diverse. Because of this, one of my campaign guidelines for conduct included the non-existence of racism in my campaigns. Totally.
That sounds like a very good idea.
That feels like a standard, but I understand. I understand that it's not, and it fucking should be.
I understand, two factions being at war and hating each other, and there can be elements
absolutely.
of racism there.
Yeah,
but you said,
yes, absolutely.
Where you're from,
yeah,
is probably a good idea to do that.
Absolutely.
Brandon.
Oh, you sound like a great dude, Brandon.
You're the man.
It may seem obvious why, but sometimes when people with little role-playing experience from a non-marginalized community push really hard into racist tropes in game to a character who is a person of color in real life, it can ruffle feathers whether it was intentional or not. So I choose to eliminate that from possibility.
That's the best thing.
Totally.
It's a really great idea.
The other rule I enforce is the non-existence of SA. Thank you, Brandon. Man, again, that should totally be something that
100%.
Isn't touched on anyway. But
just say at the beginning, there will be
none of it.
No exploration of SA
none of it.
In this game.
None of
There'll be no exploration of racism.
Yep.
And
none of it.
Setting that out from the beginning, the
people know. People can't say they didn't know the rules.
They're breaking the rule of the campaign.
Absolutely.
There you go. It's clear as day.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Previously, I had a party member come to me out of game and disclose that they were uncomfortable with players talking about SA because of past experience. Naturally, I addressed it as a group and led the party away from those topics. Now, we make sure to go over it in session 0. My goal is for everyone to have fun, and this is an easy change since campaigns normally don't go there unless you have shady characters. Super understandable. After this is just super understandable. After this, it just became commonplace for me to include all campaigns for inclusivity. Don't know why I struggle to read that so much. Now to my last campaign. The party consisted of 5 adventurers, 2 women and 3 men. The 2 women were more advanced players who had campaigned with me previously, and the 3 men were friends with each other and they had only ran 1 campaign previously, which only lasted a few sessions with a different DM. I went over the rules in session 0, no issues. It was a pretty strict 5e experience, no homebrew rules, weapons, mechanics, but we were a little lax on metagaming since more than half of our party was new. Fair enough.
Sounds good.
We took this as an opportunity to talk to our new players about different meta thoughts from characters' actions, because sometimes it gets a little confusing for new players, and they were very receptive. The first 2 sessions were perfectly fine with no issues. The new players didn't go deep into roleplay, but they kept a good pace, paid attention, and spent time on their character's development. It's all sounding good so far.
It all sounds good so far.
During our 3rd session, our party was sleeping in a random inn whilst travelling. They were still in their poor stage of the adventure and were short on funds. I get that.
That's where it all begins.
Totally. So they all
roll 4d4, and that's how much gold.
That's it. They all opted into sharing the same inn room. You would think this was a non-issue until, while sleeping, one party member who was a human barbarian stated he was going to climb into bed with the female elf bard, with his reasoning being his character had a thing for elves. Well, there we go. That's where
they can have a thing for elves.
Yeah.
Without
having to essay someone. Yeah, totally. Well, the female elf woke up and laughed off his awkwardness, both in-game and in real life, until the barbarian literally asked for a strength check to hold her down and stop her from waking the other party members. I was stunned and almost thought I heard him wrong. He had never requested an ability check before and usually protested when I asked for one. I immediately paused gameplay to get clarification about what the male player's intentions were, because I didn't want to assume anything, but he wouldn't answer. I let the player know our characters weren't allowed to act like this based on our rules from session 0. I stated the party was going to sleep throughout the night, essentially hitting the undo button on him climbing into the other character's bed. In response, the male player immediately became frustrated and stated his previous DM let him do it, and I didn't have a right to stop him.
Well, your previous DM's a bad DM.
And you're a bad person for wanting to do that. This is why it's so important. We say it every single time. We have to be the change we want to see. Yeah. This is why it's so important for people like you, Brandon, and people like you, Jack, and all of you watching as well. If you see something like this, don't facilitate it. Call it out.
I just wanted to big up Brandon.
Yeah, totally.
Like, to have somebody who you like probably have only known for 3 sessions.
3 sessions.
To just be like, to ask them what they think they're trying to do.
Yeah, say I don't want to assume anything.
I don't want to assume anything. What's your intentions here? And then for when they're not giving you the answer, because you know exactly why they're not giving you the answer.
Yes.
To then be like, nah,
no,
we'll skip over this. We'll skip over this. This isn't happening.
Yeah.
And then for them to get whingy with you.
Oh, my other DM let me do it. My other DM let me essay women. Oh, you don't have any right to stop me. What does that say about that dude as a human? Do you know what I mean? What does that say about him as a person, not just the D&D player?
What do you think it says about him?
I know what it says about him. Like, how do these people not fucking stop to think with their stupid, tiny little monkey fucking brains?
And like, what? Did that? Obviously, that person never stopped to think. Does this female presenting?
Well, of course not.
Or this female at the table?
Of course not.
They don't want this, do they?
And it's
like, why? You're basically saying I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
Because I want this.
Yeah, because
I'm more important than you.
And you have no right to stop me.
And I'll do what I want because I'm the man.
Because women are just objects,
sex objects
to me, obviously. And it's awful because Brandon said she just like laughed off the awkwardness
why are you putting
in real
life
in
that such of a like awkward situation?
Well, and it's like, as women, we're conditioned to have to play along, and we're conditioned to have to be like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, but if
you're a man, so I'll have to submit.
Yeah, and because you're a man and I'm a woman, and I'm scared that if I don't laugh it off and I say something, you're going to physically harm me.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's where it's going. That's why we women, we're forced into being like, no, that's weird. Do you know what I mean? Instead of being, I'm sure she wanted to be like, what the fuck are you doing, you fucking freak? But if he's willing to get this frustrated and this nasty to the DM.
This frustrated.
Think about how he would have acted to that female player if she had said something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pathetic. Terrible.
Before we go any further, I want to see a lot of love for Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon, you're the real MVP.
In the comments.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say in the Discord.
In the Discord. I want to see Brandon in the Discord. No. I want to see a lot of love for Brandon because, like, there we go. That's a guy.
Yep.
A male presenting person. Standing up for the women at his table.
Totally.
And being like, no.
Nope.
We're not doing this.
And, like, what were your intentions there? You know what I mean? Like, what were your intentions?
Like, and it's so funny that the guy doesn't go, I want to I want to essay this person.
He says nothing.
He says nothing.
Of course.
Because you've just been called out by Brandon and he's calling you on your fucking bullshit. Totally. And you can't even say it.
You can't even bring yourself.
To say it.
Because you're that pathetic.
Because you're that much of
and
a
you want to
fucking
play out your
worm.
Your weird fantasies in D&D.
Off.
Yeah,
get the fuck out of D&D. Get the fuck out of this community and just fuck off and look at yourself in the fucking mirror.
Yeah.
You pathetic, disgusting human being.
Yeah, totally.
You're a fucking joke.
You're the worst.
And Brandon is a fucking giga chad.
Oh, totally. Brandon, you fucking rule, dude.
Brandon's a fucking hero.
Yeah, Brandon, you rule. So, I didn't have a right to stop him. He accused me of metagaming, which we had just taught him, and he said I didn't know how to run a fun campaign with all of my restrictive rules. You won't let me get in bed with a pretty elf.
Like, you know, when it comes to D&D, we talk about metagaming, we talk about all these things that we do and do not like. All of that's out the window.
Totally.
All of that goes off the table.
None of
all
that.
of that shit. I don't care what you think is metagaming. I don't think you care if it's rules as written. All that goes out the window if you act like this.
Yeah. Fuck you.
None of that matters.
No. The safety of the people around your table and people feeling comfortable and welcome is more important than any of that.
So much more important.
And also, by the way, Brandon clarifies, this guy's like, you don't know how to run a fun campaign with all your restrictive rules. Brandon clarifies in brackets, my only 2 rules are don't be racist, don't essay anyone. Oh, you're so that's not fun. So, sorry. We were in a game shop and other games were playing near us. So I let the players know we were wrapping it up for the night and I would be following up later since I didn't want to get kicked out for causing a disturbance. Sorry, I didn't realize you were playing in a game shop.
That's even fucking worse.
That's even worse. That's even worse that this fucking idiot thinks like is so emboldened by his previous DM let him do it.
Can't
and
say
I'm
that out
assuming,
loud though, can he?
Yeah,
fucking
no, yeah, happy to do it.
What a
like
fucking
that.
asshole.
I know. The male player was so upset that I didn't give him his way. He slammed down my skull-shaped dice jail while moving it away from his papers before packing up and storming out. My dice jail was made out of a stone-like material and weighed more than it looked. It's very dramatic and I love it. Great.
Totally fine.
Yeah. In doing this, the plexiglass on the gaming table bent down so much that he damaged the screen underneath it. I didn't think I had done anything wrong, and the 4 other players were just sitting there bewildered by what had happened from the start to finish of this agreement that lasted maybe about 20 seconds. Being a teacher, I am also used to stopping inappropriate behavior without being judgmental or condescending, so I was also shocked at the response I received, and much like the party, I was broke and couldn't pay for the table that was damaged. Afterwards, we all started packing up. First of all, Brandon, you're a Giga Chad DM and you're a teacher. Shit.
Probably why he has the patience of a saint, clearly.
Yeah, true. While leaving, the shop asked for the male player's information, which I happily agreed to give.
Oh, yeah.
And called the police. They said the smart table would cost $450 to fix, and if we didn't pay prior to leaving, Their policy stated we would each get a 6-month ban from booking a table, and the one who did the damage would be permanently banned. Understandably. There was a police report filed about the incident, but they listed the disgruntled player as the one responsible, and the rest of us were just witnesses to the event. That seems fair.
Yeah.
The shop was always busy, and getting a smart table was sometimes really hard. I was so upset and embarrassed, I never went back, and our campaign never met again. The 3 male friends never responded to any communication after this.
Good.
The 2 experienced players who I had played with also took a break, but later joined for some other virtual campaigns during COVID. I don't know what I could have done better or how I could have been more clear about my expectations. Brandon, this is not a you problem.
Brandon, this is not a you problem.
Wow, this is so not a you problem.
This couldn't be any less a you problem, Brandon. I don't think you could have done anything more in this situation. You were clear about not allowing racism or SA.
Yeah.
You
when you saw it, you asked it in a non-aggressive way. You just said, "Can you clarify what your intentions are?"
Before this goes any further, can you tell me what your intentions are?
Yeah.
And they didn't want to, so clearly.
And then you just simply X'd it out.
That's it. We're gone. We're moving on because that's not happening.
And then the reaction happened. There's nothing you could have done. You handled that with more grace and decorum than we would have, certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly. I also made it a point to directly confront the behavior because the player who had previously asked me to stay away from assault conversations was one of the returning players in the party. I had never had anything like this in a campaign before. I'm always looking for opportunities to be a better DM, but I was at a loss and the idea of being in a similar situation as a DM gave me anxiety. Haven't been part of a campaign since. Oh man, that hurts me so much.
Look, in this world, there is only so much you can do.
Totally.
There is only so much as a person, Brandon, you, me, Margaret, anybody in this community, we can only do so much to create a safe environment.
Mm-hmm.
There are still people out there.
There's going to be people who are going to try their very fucking best not to.
Who want to tear it down.
Totally.
Who want to take those things that we're building and just get rid of them because they don't like it.
Yeah.
There is only so much you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do all of that, that's your best.
Yeah.
You can only do so much.
You can only do your best. And you can only do what is right. And you have done what is right here.
You need to pat yourself in back.
Totally.
And you need to understand that you're exactly what the male portion of this community needs to aspire to be. I think you're an amazing.
Yeah, totally.
I think you're an amazing person. I think everybody in this community probably thinks you're amazing. I think that it's only understandable to experience that and then feel anxiety because you still went through something.
Yeah, and like regardless of how well you handled it, because you did, it's still something that that must have been scary.
Yeah,
I think I would have been scared in that situation.
Yeah, for someone to because that's threatening to pick up your stuff and then
slam
smash it on the table
hard enough to break through the
table,
glass and go underneath.
That's like threatening.
Yeah, totally.
That's like violent behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and the fact he got immediately aggressive.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
For you to just get over that.
Yeah, because that's still a scary situation.
Still scary.
Totally.
And I don't want you to think that feeling anxious is probably the way that a lot of people would feel after.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But I just want you to know that you did the right thing.
Yep.
There's nothing more you could have done.
No, nothing.
You're creating a safe space.
Yep.
You're questioning and confronting bad behavior at the table and not allowing it to play out.
Yep.
To one of the people at the table that has come to you and said,
exactly.
That person was the reason you had that rule.
Exactly. And you stuck to it and you made sure that person.
Fuck me, in that moment, if for you to just stick to your guns and be like, no.
Because it can be hard. It's hard. It's hard to stand up like that. It is.
I think.
Oh.
I just think that's everything. What are we on? Episode 25?
Yeah.
How many times have we talked about this? How many times have we been in this situation? And this person has done exactly what we've always said, try and do.
Yeah. We can't stress enough how much you are the exact example we give every time to behavior like this. Totally.
I love having you here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are exactly the sort of person who we want me. Yeah. I'm so glad you're here.
Totally.
And I'm so glad that you did this.
And that you took your time to send us a story. You took your time to write this out to us and let us know. And I'm so sorry that you are now in a position where you feel like you can't go back to that game store. Yeah. I understand. I get. And the fact that you haven't played since, please. You know for a fact, and we all know, this dickhead is the minority.
100%.
You will not encounter someone like this again. And if you do, you know you are well equipped to deal with someone 100%. Like this. You are more well equipped than either of us
handled that better.
Totally.
Like, you couldn't have done anything more. I want you to hear that and like understand that you couldn't have done anything more. Yeah. You did everything that you could. Yeah. And
the first time is always the scariest, 100%. Right? Always. This is not going to happen again. I'm telling you. Idiots like this are in the minority. It's not going to happen again.
No.
But please do not let this stop you being a DM. You sound like an incredible DM.
You sound like an amazing.
Please. I beg you, put yourself back out there again and play D&D again. 100%. It won't happen again. It won't.
I hope it doesn't.
And if it does, again, we are coming into an age where people like this are pushed out of the community. Yeah. It might not even be you who has to say something.
Yeah.
There might be someone who was followed by your example and will do it for you.
Yeah, 100%.
So please don't let it put you off. Brandon.
You fucking hero.
What a lad. What a fucking lad.
I
know. Dude, you rock.
You are the best.
Well, that was the last one.
That was a terrible, amazing one to end on.
And you know what,
be
Brandon?
the change you want to see.
Totally.
And that is Brandon right now.
Totally. And Brandon, if you're listening, whatever happened with that? Do you? I know you say you didn't go back to the game store, but like, whatever happened with that?
Yeah.
Like, that is
rough,
that is so embarrassing for that person. So embarrassing. Embarrassing behavior.
Just so bad.
Oh, well.
Man.
Well, they were some doozies.
I feel like doozies.
Some of them were some of the worst we've heard, to be honest. Man, and it's another long episode. We know you like them. We like doing them. Thank you.
I mean, is it a long episode or is it just 2 hours of content and half an hour of chat at the beginning? So
and a weird like ad for our own Discord in the middle,
which I'm about to do again.
Yeah.
Top link in the description is our Discord.
Yes,
it's going to be full of people like us and all of you beautiful people who are in the comments. Mm-hmm. And Brandon,
come on, Brandon, show up for us.
I need you there, my dude.
Come on.
I wanna type out a message to you in the Discord saying thank you.
Yeah, come on.
But yeah, if you do want to join the Discord,
yep. First link in the description.
First link in the description. We'll love to see you there. Mm-hmm. We will be in there.
We will be. We will be. Yep. We cannot promise we'll be in there 24/7 because that's just not possible.
But I imagine one of us will be in there at least once a day.
Yeah. Especially if you need us, we'll be there. Yeah. And for us, we really love the idea of being able to just pop in and just be like, "We love you guys. What's you know what I mean?"
I can send you pictures of like how the D&D game's going and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It'd just be cool, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
For us all to just be there together.
Yeah, totally. We really hopefully we are all chatting our heads off right now.
Yeah. And also, please leave a like on the video.
Yep.
If you liked it enough, hit the subscribe button.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the bell notification on to get notified when we release new videos on a Monday and a Thursday.
Yeah.
And then leave a comment down below.
So we love chatting to you.
Tell him Brandon he's a Chad.
Yeah.
And then everything else. Tell us your opinions on the horror stories. We love to hear from you all the time.
Yep. And thank you all very much for your submissions. I think that just about does it, to be honest.
I think we're going to see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Bye.